Hello, I think I've got everything working. Welcome to the Off-Grid dev stream. My name's Rich. I make a hacking game called Off-Grid, and we're doing the second episode of Video Games is Serious Business, where we play a hacking game and think about it from the perspective of real-life security researchers and hackers, what they find interesting about hacking games and their mechanics, how they approach hacker culture, those kinds of stuff. So tonight I've got Pathfinder with me again. Path, are you there?
Good evening.
There we go. Path is a friend of mine. He's also a mod on the Sumayapis Discord, and he is a security researcher himself. So he knows a little bit about a little bit. Last week you might have caught that we played a game called Hacknet, and I think probably what we're going to do is play a bit more of Hacknet again. One of the things I've got to do first, though, is show you a bit about Off-Grid in case you've stumbled across this for the first time and you haven't seen what Off-Grid is all about. So without further ado, I'm just going to try and boot Off-Grid up. I was having a little bit of trouble, that's why we were delayed starting. So if you just bear with me a second, I will try running. Well, I'm gonna quit all of Steam's usual gubbins because I think the bootloader for it is it's playing up. Where is it? Bootstrapper is what I mean, not bootloader. So, bear me with a second. Path, can you hear on the stream? Can you hear the music? Okay, what are the levels like? It's really quiet in my headphones.
Yeah, I can't hear it at all, Dominic.
That's interesting.
All very quiet.
We'll see how the game's sounds when we pipe that in. I wonder whether I need to add a gain filter to that. Let's see. Also, if you're viewing from YouTube or on Steam broadcasts or Twitch, and you fancy letting us know how the audio sounds your end, that'd be good. Because if you can't hear Pathfinder either, then I'll definitely have to do something about that. So yeah, Path, make sure you chat away so that people can let us know that as well, I suppose.
This is some audio.
Right, we're in. I'm in. I've got Off-Grid about ready to jump into. So let's see whether I run that. That looks okay to me. Just need to grab the game. Not working. Yeah. I think so. Yeah, the game sound is really quiet as well.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting, if slightly annoying.
Windows audio settings. I mean, I don't know. Should be a master control that you can use there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've actually got the system's sound all the way up to 100. Turned up to 11, so it's not that.
Skype might be pushing it out.
Yeah, possibly. I have to use a different window, I think, for getting into the game. Yeah, we'll just do this differently. Oh, I need to add a Pathfinder.
There's an icon somewhere.
There is. Can I copy it easily will be the question.
While that's going on, I may as well talk a little bit about the fun news from today.
Yeah.
Which you might you might have seen, but if anybody has an iPhone, you should
Yes.
probably upgrade your iPhone. So, any version of iOS, as far as it says, before version 12.3, has a lovely vulnerability to do with how one can manipulate the iMessage format. You can create a malformed message, send it to a user, and all you need to do for that is have their phone number, and the malformation causes a series of exceptions that cause boot looping, and you can hard reset your device. You can power it off, power it on again. It will still be there. As soon as the phone becomes unlocked, you enter back into this boot looping state, and the phone becomes unusable. The way to fix this is a booting into recovery image or reflashing the operating system using iTunes, but you essentially lose your data in the process. So not only did that sort of drop, but the code with which to do this also dropped today. So if you were to put into a search engine and find Google Project Zero, they are the vulnerability research team within Google. Google Project Zero released this, and there will be a number of people talking about it, but the CVE, the vulnerability ID, if you like, for this is CVE 2019-8664. So if you were to put that in, CVE-2019-8664 into a search engine and have a read. And if you have an iPhone, update, because these messages are going to come.
So and does that mean that Apple have already shipped the patch? That's why.
Yes, that's why it's dropped.
Yeah.
I'm not sure of the full timeline, but I think it's 90 days this time, which is the standard industry disclosure timeline for responsibly talking to the vendor, allowing them such a time as to fix and release an update.
Right.
And then things get disclosed. 90 days is a contentious time for some, because for those 90 days, people are still vulnerable.
Yeah.
If the exploit is known in the wild, which is what we would term it, if something's actively exploited in the wild, and yet you're held under this responsible disclosure timeline, then that's a number of days that people are vulnerable, that nobody talks about it, and that's usually no good. But aside from this, the update is out. Update your phones, or don't, if you prefer. They might get turned off fairly soon.
Fair enough. Well, that's good to know about. There's in Hacknet actually there is a reference to an old iPhone, not so much exploit, but people who were bricking iPhones or jailbreaking them found that there was an admin password that they could use that was Alpine in one of the early generations, like 2009, 2010, something like that. There's a reference for getting into someone's iPhone on Hacknet that uses that password, which
so
is
if
a nice little
there's an
tidbit.
iPhone on Hacknet, we use the password Alpine, is what you're telling me?
Yep. Yeah, I think so, if I remember rightly. So I've got some new stuff in Off-Grid actually that I can show you. As you can see, there's some placeholder text that floats over Joe's body. But I've started to set up the kind of level that tutorializes what you need to do, how you learn about the tools and this, that, and the other. So to start with, at the beginning of the game, you've just got your vanilla stuff like iTunes, EYE tunes, iWeather, iCalendar, nothing in the calendar yet, iClock, iHelper, which gives us some clues as to what's around. But yeah, no hacking tools. So we have to go into work. We've been told by Smedley to get into the workplace where your office is, and he'll help you along from there. So all being well, we should get greeted by the secretary.
By the way, I'm seeing it on the YouTube stream, but I don't have it on Skype there, so I've got that today.
Yeah, let me just test that quickly. Let's see. See if I can get it shared on the old Skypey boy. I'll have to try and remember how you screen share on Skype now.
It's the little button that looks like it's two screens as a maximizer.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Did that do anything? Oh, no.
No, you got to select, I think.
A3, I can show you my entire display, apparently. That's about all the option I have.
Okay.
Can you see that now? That should give you off-grid in your Skype.
Yep, I can see it.
Cool. I have a nice little yellow highlight around my screen to remind me that you can see everything that I'm doing. So we've got the secretary. She's off doing her AI thing in the background there. Path, you'll be quite happy to know that all the theoretical sort of scriptable, moddable AI stuff that we've been talking about over many years now is actually in place. And so I was writing the Go app actions for this AI in Lua, which any player could do. It's kind of nice.
That is so good to be able to introduce something and the game incorporate it that way.
Yeah. It means that it's very easy to mess something up as a modder. There's a lot of system to learn. But yeah, it's a nice thing. And it will be fun to see what people do with kind of the social engineering puzzles that you can build by scripting your own AI as well. So here's a little placeholder. Basically, as you walk down this corridor, all of the TVs and lights around you start to glitch. And a few screens say things like quotes from the film Hackers, 1984, yeah, right, man, that was a typo, Orwell is here now. So if you can imagine that on these screens, that's what would be going on. These lights would be flickering and kind of guiding you in the right direction. And there's your spooky office. I assume you can't really hear the game audio.
I cannot, no.
It's weird. I wonder whether Skype is stealing something. Can you hear it at all, or is it just really quiet?
I'll sort this out.
Let me. No, the audio's not coming through. I think Skype might be hijacking something there.
Mother. That's interesting. I wonder what. I don't think I can about that, to be honest. It didn't.
I have to look at it.
I guess we don't know whether it did it last time or not, actually. Yeah, we might have to have a look, I guess. It means that people can focus on our wonderful voices. So here we are in our office, and we've been told to go and find a package that has been left for us. Someone's been looking at the SHA 2017 wiki on our machine, which is a placeholder. I suppose we ought to find something more kind of direct as a message. Anyway, you pick up this sandwich bag off the desk, and you get told to use the SD card inside. There's like a text-to-speech voice that's going on in the background here that's sort of guiding you through some of this stuff. So basically, someone has hacked a few of the devices in your office and is using them to tell you what to do, if that makes sense.
It's nice to have someone walking you through it.
Yeah, exactly. If you're just starting out as a fledgling hacker, you need someone to guide you in the dark arts. So we use the hidden package, and in there is an SD card. We use that, and that gives us rootkey, which essentially starts our phone. And in the background, you hear the text-to-speech voice go, "You cheeky scrub lord, I will wipe you from the internet." And Joe responds by saying, "Yeah, sure, whatever. Just do it quietly." So there's our Black iOS pen testing toolkit is being installed now.
Excellent.
Black iOS base tool success. Welcome to Black iOS, the pen tester's augmented reality tool suite of choice. You are currently running Black iOS security tool suite version 1.0504F5. So, and the text to speech just said, "Hack the planet, hack the planet." It's a real bugger that you can't hear any game audio, because I that's one of the things that I've done a nice little run on. So we've just installed Crypt Chat as well, so now Smedley can start chatting to us, and it's created a public key for us. So you can go through an explanation of what a public key is, and then Smedley will talk to you about it, but I've just chosen to explain another time there. And he says, "I'll ping you securely when you have my key." We've just gotten Smedley's key.
So, on the note of private keys, public keys.
Yep.
Don't share your private key. Those who might be watching, and if
Yep.
you're going to use private keys, don't use the same one for more than one thing. So, there was an ISP, which is not a UK-based ISP, and it's not a US-based ISP either, but they had one certificate file, which was the main priv key they were using for internally within the network of the, what do you call it, the ISP routing. It was a small one.
Mm-hmm.
You get that one key, and you get all of the traffic. So even people at the top of what is allegedly, infrastructure games, they will reuse things, and it's probably a case for why, not just from the bad attackers, in terms of using VPNs for privacy, but it's not necessarily that your ISP might be snooping on you. The ISP might have made a designer infrastructural decision such as that, and so if one person gets one box with one key, they can see all traffic from all boxes doing all things. It wasn't a very big scale thing, but these kind of issues pop up all the time, right? So keep your private keys private.
That is it's pretty good advice, and actually might have something in here that makes you smile. Certainly in the let me pull it up. In the, I think in the Apostle, basically, if you took your PGP key and you sent it to Smedley, well, I shouldn't be able to do this inside of. Let's wait until this conversation is finished. If you sent your private key to Smedley, he would tell you off for it, basically.
Oh, nice.
But I have got something in here where it says it's adding it to keychain. I think that it's worth us maybe talking about something we were talking about the other day, which was how certain people got wrung around the neck back in the anonymous days because of having signed each other's PGP keys. So, kind of essentially you can incriminate an associate by signing PGP keys. So there's nothing wrong with using PGP, but the kind of verifying of keys is a whole other kind of problematic field, really.
We would use the point to ensure no crossover of infrastructure, or so between each, let's say, project that you might be working on, everything is separated and everything for that is generated. I mean, depending on how paranoid you might be about it, you'd have necessarily a separate device. But yeah, you would have complete separation. And so the whole idea of signing and sharing things that way is something that you're dealing with a level of lack of OPSEC that you usually don't find now with people who've seen what happens when it goes wrong.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So.
Even so, I mean, even if you are segmenting absolutely everything you're doing, surely there is even a hazard in using the web of trust with people you're associating with for your hacktivist enterprises on IRC. Because you can always say that, well, the logs have my handle or a handle I used, but that's not definitely me. Whereas if your PGP key has been signed on the web of trust, or on an open ledger essentially, then it's a whole different story in terms of plausible deniability, right?
Yeah. So as an example of a worst case scenario, which is a related problem of operational security and keys and what have you, I think it was December 2012, end of 2012, beginning of 2013, there was an effort called Op Tyler, referencing Tyler Durden. Fight Club, for people who don't know who that is. Do watch it. So Op Tyler was put together by a few people, and one person in particular decided they wanted to go live with this project earlier than had been planned, when the infrastructure that was created hadn't been finished. So the whole point of Op Tyler was to be able to create a peer-to-peer secure sharing platform, right? Which would be leveraging something called RetroShare. And the person who dropped it went live too early and launched the thing across the social media, and a number of IRC networks were then flooded for days with just literally hundreds upon hundreds, at one point thousands of, for some reason, French and Brazilian users. And they would be begging to get involved. They wanted to be able to start the op themselves, share around, and they had absolutely no idea of how to set any of this up because none of the instructions were made clear. Right. So what they were doing was they would say stuff like, please to add to RetroShare PG, and they would dump their private keys into open channels. So what this meant was, not only did you have their private key, anybody else in the channel would be able to use their private key at some point in time and fight over connections to try and get access to this. So essentially, everybody would then have access to the system, everybody would be able to use it, there would be no mechanism to keep anybody out, and technically then anybody who was watching from some form of similar would be able to access what they weren't supposed to be able to access. So the entire thing was derailed by one individual's ego and the fact that something was mismanaged, and suddenly keys were flooding for 3 or 4 days, I think, right end of December 2012. So if you were to go and check again through a search engine for Op Tyler, there should be some information about that.
Oh, interesting. I have to give that a little Google. What we're up to in the game here is we've been told that we need to get hold of an RFID writer in the maintenance room to get into the boss's office. So that's what we're doing. It's all a bit placeholder at the minute, obviously. But there is the RFID writer. So that's Huang Tech RFID copy 4550. This equipment is only use legal purpose. Please strict comply vary with the relevant laws and regulation. The use of all consequences of the equipment involved. The company does not assume any responsibility. Consent statement. So that's written in. That's actually pulled straight off of the legal warning on a real RFID machine in really bad broken English. And I thought it was funny, so I just decided to keep it in there.
Did you want an RFID thing to mess around with? I think I've got one somewhere. A printer, copier thing, whatever.
I'm always up for gear to mess about with. I'm sure for research purposes, I should probably have a play around with that at some point. So we're being told that we're going to be sent a tool called Spectrum at this point, and so this is sort of introducing us to the data view stuff. So in comes Spectrum and all the nodes, and it gets auto-loaded for us there, and we can start to see the data around us. So I don't know whether you remember in the previous demo path, but a load of this stuff was just sort of dumped on your plate immediately and not really told to you or given to you in bit part as to how to work out how to use it. So what I've tried to do is divide that up a bit and give it a sort of some narrative as to why you're being fed these tools at a slower rate as well. What are your thoughts so far? Does it seem like an interesting page?
Yeah, you don't like if you had it from word go without sort of being able to develop, because you're kind of thrown into this, right? And getting thrown into something, you imagine a person IRL doing that. Suddenly they've got like what looks like a building's MRI plumbing in their AR.
Yeah.
But yeah, picking the tool up and being able to then use it is probably better, isn't it?
Yep. And so what I've done is you don't have SSH yet until you walk down the stairs here, so you can use the data to avoid that guard that you've got to get around. But that's all. You don't have anything you can try and pop. But now you get told they're going to teach you how to use SSH. And so the notion here is that we're going to basically be able to SSH into the printers and the other stuff in the office. We've got Replay or Repally is saying, hey, on Steam Broadcast. Hey, how you doing? Nice to have you here. We're just showing Off Grid, which is a hacking game. Thanks for joining us. We are doing it through the lens of hackers and security researchers, and I've got my friend Pathfinder here through some of the realities of the stuff that we're trying to represent in hacking games. So stay tuned and make sure to ask questions as you go along. The next bit that we have going on here is the SSH tool being installed. What did you think, Path, to the kind of notion of being given a little SD card that you're routing your phone with, and that little kind of sequence where there's just these bars essentially that run across the screen, and you kind of can then install some tools that were otherwise unavailable.
So actually, it's not too far away from not just a few years of flashing things on Android or whatever, but
yeah.
Not too long after, there were a few companies and phones that had their own niche following.
Yeah.
All of this happens on XDA developers, obviously. I'm sure you've heard of that. But I played around with Xperia. Sony used to still be Sony Ericsson, and the Xperia fan base it was good because they were some of the most easy to deal with. The manufacturing the bootloaders down the same way as they were for others for a while. But anyway, we got to a stage where they just called it Flash
Yeah.
You've called yours Root King, right? But
Yeah.
Flash Tool was the one-stop shop. You would be able to use loader unlocking from the menu of this thing.
Yep.
I think it was like 200 megabytes, this tool. Unfortunately, I think it
Oh
was
no.
maybe Java backended.
Replay is saying they can't see the video. Sorry to interrupt you there, Path. Is YouTube still up?
Let me check. Yeah, it looks like it's there.
I wonder about Twitch.
On YouTube, I am seeing. Hang on. Yeah, on YouTube, I've got the red screen with the thing that you were doing a few seconds ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've just switched back to desktop now. I'm just gonna have a look on. Yeah. Oh, hang on. No, is it paused on that? No, it's okay. It's just a little behind. It is lagging quite a lot. I wonder whether the screen share is getting in the way.
Yeah, we can do without it really.
Let's.
I'll follow in the lag.
Yeah, let's nip that off. See whether that helps.
So yeah, you could install a recovery image with this one tool. You could root the device first with this tool. You could do bootloader unlocking all from this package. So it's entirely feasible that someone would be sharing something like that you could do quite a lot of functions with, aside of just one-click root here or do this thing to unlock bootloader there. And it's a bit different with HTC. You had to go onto their website, click a load of things to say yes, I agree to potentially breaking my device if I do this, and then they give you they gave you an unlock token that you could use. But with the Xperias, you could download Flash Tool, and I've still got it somewhere. Useful thing, and you could do all of your things from there by the end of it.
So Flash Tool was actually something supplied by Android.
No, it was by someone may have to fact check this, but I think the person's name was Androxide. That was the developer who made on XDA that made Flash Tool. Well, this is years ago, so it might not have been Androxide, but there were a number of key people who specifically played with Xperia stuff. So there was someone called Zedzadu, there was OI94, and then this Androxide person. And I think Flash Tool may have allowed for more models, but I just remember that Xperia's it was good.
I wonder what is going on with Steam Broadcast. It's the hardest platform to get the configuration right for. It always seems to be problematic, which is mildly annoying because one of the, like we were saying before the stream started, it's the Steam sales. And maybe that's it. Maybe it's because the Steam sales are on. Maybe it's a traffic issue.
I've got you next to an icon of PF and a green screen background of the lobby, was it? That's what I've got.
Yeah. Like you've got like a secretary walking around in front of me.
Okay. Yeah, we're back in the game now. Yeah, the delay is a fair amount of time. Yeah, there we go. There she is.
Someone called EMF was in the chat. I wonder whether that has anything to do with the EMF we know. I guess we keep streaming for this. We just have to give up on Steam Broadcast like I have in the past, unfortunately. Which is sad. But essentially, we get the SSH tool now, and we should be able to hack the printer here, and there's something wrong with the AI at the minute, so they react really slowly to this. But there's a purge button. Printer, we set it to purge. It starts spitting paper, and she can't use it anymore. So she ends up distracted, and that should give us a distraction that allows us to get into the office, although she's still using her filing cabinets at the moment. The idea is she shrieks and it's out of ink and she has to go so that we can get into the boss's office. There you go. She's... Oh, yeah. That's it. That's what it is. I haven't set up where she goes to, so she actually just goes to her desk at the minute. Yeah, and that gets us into his office. But I think that's probably a good place to leave this, rather than kind of continuing to spoil the rest of the intro of Off-Grid, and we can maybe jump into doing some Hacknet, if you're up for that.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. Let's do that then. Really, I'm so annoyed by Steam Broadcast not playing. And the worst thing about it is, it's not like it wasn't ever playing. I saw it working. Like 5-10 minutes ago, it seemed to be doing okay, although it was freezing. Oh well. It's the thing with the streams. It's these live streams today. Everyone's sort of, I think, people a bit younger than us, Path, are used to it. It's what they've come up on. Is then they don't need like TV kind of level of production value. They're quite happy for things to be a bit janky and shot off the hip for their entertainment nowadays, I believe.
Yeah, I still remember 56K though.
Yeah, but you weren't watching live streams on 50K.
No. What you were doing was you were waiting for 4 weeks to download the 600 meg rip of GTA 3. That's what you're doing.
Yes. Yeah. I can still hear the sound of my dial-up now. I do miss that thing where you could either use the internet or use the telephone, and so
someone will make a phone call whilst you're trying to do something, and it would kill your internet.
Yeah. We had in my house, my dad worked from home, and so he had a second phone line that you could use on the internet, and so it would all be fine until he got some like important business call come through, and then you were balked. But it meant that overnight you were pretty safe for mucking about on the interwebs. So I sort of forgot what I was doing. I was finding Hacknet, wasn't I?
That's right.
Cool. Let's launch this bad boy. Here we go.
Let me know when it's loaded, and I will time the delay. So
it's just loaded, and I'm just about to continue with my account crash override. So I'm going to hit continue with account now, so we can time. It's just open the game. Wow, you still waiting?
Yep.
Wow. So it's at least an 11-second delay, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm at about 25.
No wonder Steam Broadcast isn't working.
Yeah, I'm still only seeing on the interface. The game hasn't come up yet.
Really? Really? Ah,
Okay, game's come up.
that's like 30 to 45 seconds.
Yeah.
That might be
Yeah.
why
Crash
Steam
on Live has
Broadcast
just
doesn't like
appeared.
it.
There we go.
I think that's probably what's going on then.
Yeah.
It's just that Steam Broadcast doesn't like that kind of long delayed handshake. Well, we could start and stop the stream again.
Well, if you can see it and roughly describe what we're looking at, yeah, I mean the thing that helps me
yeah.
is we'll have to do some like a troubleshooting hour or something to work out how to do this.
The tricky thing is that it's quite hard to do a troubleshooting stream without just then people seeing that you're streaming.
Yeah, of course. We'll have to heavily caveat it.
Yeah. What I might start with is I am actually going to let's just have a look at the settings on OBS quickly, because there's got to be something going on here.
Yeah, if you can take the frame rate down. I don't know what frame rate you've got going on for your recording, but if you could take all of this down to something manageable, because I'm just about streaming on YouTube at like 144p at the minute.
I wonder whether it's Skype. I wonder whether Skype is hogging all the bandwidth. That would suck.
Yeah, what we'd have to do then is do some kind of out of band mumble for audio. Pipe the mumble audio into the stream instead.
Yeah.
That's annoying, isn't it?
It is a bit. Yeah, I mean, in terms of my kind of audio bitrate stuff, actually, there's no point in putting that up on screen because you're not going to see it for about a minute and a half. Yeah, there's not a huge amount. I mean, I'm not even using any particularly advanced settings for. Yeah, I'm using all this sort of restream defaults. Yeah, I haven't enabled advanced encoder settings. Nothing like that.
We'll look at setting up something like Mumble so that you've got an audio pipe that isn't some fat Skype interface. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. I think we'll have to do that for next time. Yep. Okay. Well, we'll do a blind run basically. I'll talk you through what we're up to. So I guess last time we were here in Hacknet, we just popped a couple of different machines, and there was some group that we were trying to beat some challenges for. Do you remember? Something along those lines.
We'd also stolen some file called SSH crack, I think.
Yeah, so we had the ability to do port scan after one of the ports had been
that's right,
popped, essentially. So I'm trying to remember.
From memory, we had things like port hack. Then we could scan stuff. We could connect to stuff.
Yep.
And move files around, and delete things, and delete logs. Always delete logs.
So I found. That was. Yeah, we were talking about that last time, weren't we? Where basically I just spent it took me ages to get anywhere in this game because I would log onto a machine and then I would like meticulously wipe all the logs for every movement that I made through in case it was being tracked.
Yeah, you should. I mean, if the game has trained you to do that, then that is very realistic, as we will have talked about before.
But then it turned out that it was kind of useless in terms of gameplay. It just made me hang around a lot longer than I needed to.
So it's a shame that March isn't here, but on behalf of March and plugging March and March's abilities and tooling, March has quite a penchant for the improving, or rather adding more nuance to when one breaks into a Linux box in a legitimate pen test, I must add, in an authorized pen test fashion.
Yep.
So with Windows, there are lots of different things people use for tooling, but he did a talk in a conference called SteelCon, which is coming up next weekend this year round. But last year he was talking about something called a hacking harness. A harness for essentially, instead of you going around and making sure that what you're doing doesn't cause you OPSEC failures because you mistype something, or certain things be automated as you jump onto the box, you have something you would call a harness that allows you to do some of these things and kind of solve some of the problems for you. So not necessarily that his or rather others would do this, but you would be able to put something in place so that you access the box through your tooling.
Yep.
And it might do something like it might clean logs in certain places just in case you forget to scrub a log.
Yeah.
This thing goes around and wipes it for you and this kind of stuff. These are the things you can do with something called a harness, and that not to be confused with a fuzzing harness, which is a little bit different.
So his harness is essentially, it's a set of Python scripts that you just start up when you are
I am
starting
unsure
work.
whether it's Python or Perl.
Yep.
I will give you the name of it now, I think. Well, I will find you the name as we carry on.
So I've just gone into our mailbox to see where we were up to, and it's taken us back a step. There's a group called Entropy that's currently accepting members, and we have to go and find them. So obviously we've not pinged their server yet. Bitwise test PC, proxy server info. Few notes on proxy servers, a classic M. Run shells on computers you have access, connect to a target computer, probe its security, use the shells to overload the target proxy. NetEdu archives will have some more details. Yeah, so we're back an objective. Yeah, I've read this stuff before. Firewalls, analysis and solutions, shells. Shells are compact, low-memory, remote processors running on a separate machine that can be controlled locally from any connection. So yeah, you use the kind of terminology for what they call a shell in Hacknet is not to be confused with kind of what you're doing on all of these boxes when you SSH into them, but more the idea of actually dropping some kind of proxy control that you can use the processing power of another machine to crack something else with. If I'm following that correctly. So I think basically we're supposed to go onto a bunch of the other devices that we've already popped and run the command shell on them. And that gives us this little shell thing here.
Through which you
And then,
it. So it's kind of botnet orchestration, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Or if you were a computer science person, it would be a grid of nodes and you would be running MapReduce, except that the jobs you're supplying are some form of computation to throw away, I think. At one point, I saw the similarity between the distribution of a botnet and how a lot of people are trying to scale data modeling and crunching on grid setups and this kind of stuff. Right?
Yeah, it's pretty much exactly the same thing. It's just you have permission for one.
Yeah, well, depending on whether or not you read the terms of service, you might have given permission for another.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that, I can't remember exactly which torrent client it was, but one of the legitimate torrent clients that wasn't cracked, it was their own choice to do this. They bundled a miner into the client so that when you step through the install, it says you give permission for us to mine coins on your machine. So read your terms of service, because otherwise your fans will be on all the time.
Oh, insufficient memory. Close notes. Oh yeah, that's quite funny. My notes are using up so much memory on my machine that I can't use SSH crack. Shows that I'm definitely using an old school device.
More RAM, didn't we?
Yes. Right, we're using SSH crack on the Entropy server. Oh, can you hear the music for the game at all now? It seems louder to me.
Let me test. No, just some static there.
That's weird.
So again, we've got 22, 23, 25 and 80 still. Is that what I can see?
Yeah, I think the way that this works, it's always the same 4 ports. Like there's only 4 ports on each device, right, essentially. Instead of, what is it, 9? Are there over 9,000 ports?
Yes, there are. There are as many ports as you can have in, what is it now? Is it an unsigned short? 65535. That's the number
there
of ports
you go. Yep. But for gameplay purposes, it's limited to 2 here. I think.
Yeah.
I think we've got this.
Modelling that would not be sensible in the game.
Oh no, not port crack. What's the port scan?
Port hack.
Port hack. Yes. Well remembered.
So, which box are we hitting now?
This is the Entropy test server, the one that we'd already done last time. I'm just catching back up. It's the save has not remembered, or it's taken us back a step. So we're onto that one, and it has. Congratulations, download this file to complete your induction test. Entropy will be contacting you shortly. So I have to SCP this file, I believe. Yeah, that's been copied. And then I think we found something funny in here. Oh, there's my logs. Yeah, we should RM those. Well, actually, what we should do is, there was like a file called 0bin with hacktheplanet.txt.
Yeah, that's right.
An op Stormwind, and that's when we ended up talking about the Titstorm.
Yes.
Yep.
Excellent.
400 Jin Stormwind online, but then it turned out that the op Stormwind in this was something to do with some gaming server. It was it seemed like it was a Blizzard, some kind of Blizzard related thing, didn't it? Do you remember?
Something like that. Well, it certainly wasn't.
Definitely didn't represent anything to do with the sending of Australian members of Parliament multiple different types of porn they tried to ban.
No, and again, modelling that in a game would not be appropriate, probably.
Well, I'm sure there are, whatever tickles your pickle, as they say. Entropy have emailed us. I don't know how they got us our email. I don't know how they. I mean, we're in real trouble if you SCP'd a file off of their server and they got your email back of that.
Well, they've got your IP off the back of that. If you were to connect to SCP, I mean, the real SCP, it showed the same up in syslog, as far as I know, as with standard SSH. So they'll have IP, connection information, this kind of stuff, and whether or not you successfully logged in, this kind of jazz. So if you had a mail server on your own IP, I mean, they could have just touched that, couldn't they? Or otherwise checked the host name. There's lots of ways you can do that.
I don't think we are hosting our own mail. We have to go to Gmail servers to check our webmail.
Well, you say that, but a lot of people don't realise when they spin up a server that something like XIM4 or Dovecot or something like that is already provisioned and running.
Fair enough.
I mean, not in the game, I'm sure. If you load something up on some remote server, just run lsof lsof as sudo with the parameter -i. That will show you all open current connections as being open file objects. The other one is netstat, or SS is how netstat's been renamed. But yeah, that'll tell you what's open and where it's listening. So you'll know then. And from now on, you should do that as soon as you log into your SSH machine.
Noted.
lsof-i or netstat-an as the most primitive, and it'll tell you what's talking to you and what state the connection's in for the netstat.
So I'm just going to read this confirmation of the mission thing, I guess, seeing as we've gotten this email from Entropy. Greetings, Crash Override. Let me be the first to congratulate you on locating. Oh, hang on. I thought we were going to put Acid Burn in, and we chose Crash Override.
Yeah,
that's
Acid
annoying.
Burn didn't come up, actually, I don't think, from memory. We threw Crash Override in there.
Yeah.
So was there not a reference to Zero Cool in here somewhere as well?
There was already. Yeah, I think we think on the Entropy server.
Yeah.
So, let me be the first to congratulate you on locating and bypassing the Entropy group entrance exam. While an experienced hacker for an experienced hacker, it's a relatively trivial task. Surprisingly, few actually seem to manage it. Before we will be able to allow you to officially join the group, we must further confirm your abilities. A tabloid news server has recently taken a negative stance towards Entropy, and we'd like to temporarily disable their operation. Sound familiar? As a second test of your skill, we ask you to bring down this server's message board. If you can, leave the non-entropy related articles and the rest of the server intact. We do not wish to be needlessly destructive. This is not a request to simply wipe the server clean of articles. We want just that program brought down. Okay.
Right.
Program.
So I'm guessing we've got to go somewhere and find the specific.
It's called
for their stuff.
Slashbot News, apparently.
Oh, is it? What, like /dot by any chance?
I assume so. Although they said tabloid. /dot's not a tabloid.
It can get a bit tabloidy. You remember how the news is sort of sort of dropped there. Like there'll be an exit from another site, but /dot goes, this brings this story to our attention, and then there's a little telex thing.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe Hacknet got a not very good first look review from /dot.
Maybe. So this Entropy group engaged in malicious hacking ? Is one of the stories. Suspicions arise over Entropy. Internet group Entropy has been renowned for some time as a reliable source of information on recent developments in the internet world. However, recent actions by the group, such as the shutdown of the public access terminal after the means of which they had been procuring this information was called into question, has aroused the suspicions of reporters and companies alike. Although the group has long been a credit to the openness of information, if it has been doing so by illegitimate means, action must be taken. So they were quite happy to take the information and publish it from Entropy without asking any questions. But now that it's been pointed out, they've switched sides. That's why Entropy are angry at them.
Right,
which is fair enough, really.
Yeah.
So we.
Is it?
I don't know. You tell me.
We don't know. That's the thing. We're essentially doing the bidding of
We are.
this group. Right?
We're not really
And we
asking any
trust it.
questions.
Yeah, exactly. Trust nobody.
Well, we don't have any other servers other than their test server to pop, but I
No.
assume at some point we can break into them properly. Right. So there's a proxy. That's annoying. I'd already gotten rid of those shells, so I got to go to a bunch of other pop machines and write shell.
Okay.
Let's see if we can do it with just one.
Yeah, this is like the first thing they're asking you to do, right? Like,
Yeah.
They shouldn't be asking for a legion of bots.
Well, they are, or they're asking for one bot, and that's the other thing. This shell command only. I mean, we're running on computers that have 761 megs of RAM currently. So
that's not bad.
But it uses up all the RAM if you've got 4 Word documents open. No notes documents. Right. So I've got to nmap first, and then I can run this overload thing with shell.
So I'm guessing in the way they've made the mechanics of this, once you overload this proxy, you're then able to nmap.
You're then able to SSH crack, and then you can.
Okay. Right,
yeah. I mean, there's no kind of difference really between this proxy and the ports themselves, other than really
overload.
this kind of notion of needing to use a different server to crack it. I've just SSH crack open. Oh right, I need to put 22 in.
By the way, just for the to finish off the plug, March's tool is called Hawk. I can't remember why. I can't believe I didn't remember that, because it was a big thing at SteelCon. But if you were to go to
I could have told you that.
zmarch/orc on GitHub, you would find this, and it is a post-exploitation bash framework as a harness. Do check it out if you are into your pen testing. Obviously, not. We can't recommend bad activity, right?
No, we're not.
Okay, so pen testing then. If you like that, then go there.
Yeah, exactly. Right, we've done our SSH crack. We port scan now. I mean, I'm pretty. There's no port crack. That's what it is.
Port hack.
Port hack. Yes. Just. Ooh, that's interesting. There we go.
So we're in, right?
We are. So the question is, they said something about deleting the message board.
So they said they wanted to delete just the stories about them from memory. Didn't they say that? They said they don't want to be too evil. But they do want to get rid of those stories.
I mean,
well, first you look around, right, at every time. If we run ls, what does that? I mean, again, because I've got this delay, I don't know if you've done that or not.
Yeah, so I've hit ls, and that gives us obviously the file system. I've just looked in home. There's nothing in home. Log obviously just has the connections I've made and where I'm moving around. Binaries is empty. And then sys has like xserver.sys, osconfig.sys, boot cfg.dll, netcfgx.dll, default boot module.txt.
Okay.
So if and there's the message board. Yeah, we can read. We can read files.
read those files out again to me because they've put those files in there, right? There's all these different files in this folder. That must mean something for the game, right?
In the systems file.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, actually, it's quite funny because you can obliterate or wipe your own system files, and you can actually load in different OS configs and get different GUI. So you can find a server that you like the layout of when you're looking at it, and you can take their .sys files and load them into your own system folder, and it will change the GUI layout to the one that you like. So there's a sequence later in the game where your interface changes to a more hackery green color because your system gets wiped and you have to boot it up again. So
there's a message board directory there you're showing me, are you?
Yeah. Okay. So there's listings, so that's got the stories in. So I guess we can cat any of those stories, and we can RM any of those stories also.
Okay. Are there any that sound like they're related to those articles we're talking about?
Yeah. The two with the two that have entropy in the title must be the same articles. So I can just delete those. I thought they said. I swear they said something about deleting a program though, but maybe.
Can we read the email again?
We can. You can't have a second terminal open, so you can't go and read the email and keep this open.
Okay. So can we come out of here after doing? So we know that we want to delete the things. Can we delete the things and then come out, read the thing, and then go back in?
Yeah, we can.
Because they want them gone, so we can ghost them out.
Yeah. Yep. So RM entropy. Yeah. And RM suspicions arise.
What? And what were the names of the files in the system folder?
They were Xserver, OSConfig, bootcfg, netcfgx, and default boot module.
Okay. Xserver.sys, did you say? Or xserver.cfg?
.sys.
.sys, okay. That could be fun to delete, but yeah, we'll have to read the email again.
Yeah, I mean, basically, if you delete the Xserver file on any machine, it kills it.
It kills it dead.
Yep.
Well, I mean, personally, that's what we should go for. No, actually, no.
I think you can. Fork bomb the machines as well, if I remember rightly.
Not to say that people don't necessarily remember, but if you've ever had to build stuff somewhat manually, you'll have come across the initialization.
Yep.
Well, it's not a real table, but init tab, etc init tab, and in there you have various kernel/processor directives, and you also have something that, when set, is the choice that's made at the beginning as to what the system is supposed to do. And one of those settings, I can't remember which one it is. There's single user mode, multi-user or multi-target. But some of these options, if you set it, and I can't remember if it was 1 or 6, but there's 3 of these settings where if you set it, the machine will just, one of them is shut down, so it will instantly shut down.
Uh-huh.
One of them is restart, so it boot loops, and the other one just says never set it as this from memory. So
right.
If you were to set in init tab for it to restart, what you do is you leave that in there for the system, and the next time they restart it, it just boot loops.
Mm-hmm.
As like another one of those little mines that you can do. So given that they've got a boot.cfg, that's what I'd probably have done here if I really wanted to screw over, because they don't know there's a problem until they do their restart when they upgrade something. And suddenly, what has caused the problem? They naturally think it's the RFC change, so they try and roll back, and that doesn't fix the problem, and they're just there with a cycling Ubuntu.
You're evil.
Pen testing is legal. Be nice.
So that deleting those files hasn't fixed anything. It says, this is not a request to simply wipe the server clean. We just want that program brought down. Tabloid News Server has taken us. We'd like you to temporarily disable the operation.
Okay.
We ask you to bring down the server's message board. So it says, yeah, so maybe we need to find the program for the message board. If you can, leave the non-entropy related articles and the rest of the server intact.
Okay. Right, so RM the articles, don't kill the server, but kill the application that is running the articles. So it's Kansas City Shuffle. You break their process, and when they fix it, they haven't noticed that 2 of their articles are gone because they're more interested in dealing with the problem.
I see. Mm-hmm.
That's what I think is going on here, right?
Yeah. Well, there's listings, which is the articles where we've deleted 2 of them. There's close, which says nothing. There's a config.sys file within message board, and there's a config caution text. It says, config.sys in this folder is a critical system file. Do not delete or rename it. Doing so will crash the board and bring the host program down. Changes to the config should be made during scheduled outages to avoid this issue. So yeah, we're just going to delete config.sys rm.
Classic. So they don't know the articles are gone because they're too busy fixing the broken server. It's nice. Only if you delete the log, because they'll see what you did.
Well, config.sys is gone. Logs are just about to go.
No word of a lie.
And we're out.
The very last little forensic-y thing I had to do had the entire bash histories of multiple infractions of law, if you like.
Oh dear.
Someone sent something that had to be looked at, which isn't normally the thing that I would do, but for not wiping logs, everything was pieced together, and without having been able to do that, a lot of unknowns would have taken a long time to piece together. But entire command history was right there, so wipe your logs.
Yeah, I mean, it ought to be the thing that people know as default, right? But I assume in the heat of the moment, even
they need to know where they all are, because there are a number of different places, and lots of people think, well, I attacked the web server, so I get rid of the web logs. Yeah. But if you've been on that server, you've left traces of things elsewhere. You know what I mean? Every time you restart a system service, there's a log to say that got restarted at this time, potentially with these parameters. And there's a hell of a lot of it, right? Imagine walking in a house with muddy shoes. Yep. Every room you go into, you've got mud and footprint on a different surface, which interacts with it a different way. That's what people should be thinking of, but they don't.
But something like Orc is only ever going to be able to do the basics for you, and every server's going to have its own unique configuration that you're going to have to be thinking about throughout that journey.
I've not run through using something like Orc, right? But although different servers and things will have customized configs, Linux is supposed to be non-abstracted as much as possible, and a lot of people will use very similar distributions anyway. For the most stable stuff, of all the hundreds of distros out there, people will go to things like Debian, Red Hat / CentOS, that sort of side of things. So if you're familiar with these systems, you'll know where to look for a lot of things. And there are some basic parts of Linux that you would look for these things anyway. So if they exist, RM them, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I've got a Debian fact later for you at the end, just before we go, because it's my favourite Linux fact in the world.
Okay, but it's only when we're going.
Yeah, remind me at the end, because I want people to immediately go and check whether or not this is true, because it is true and nobody believes it.
Okay, sounds good to me. So we've been sent an email congratulating us for passing the second test. We've been gladly welcomed to Entropy now. A small welcoming gift. You'll find the user details of the admin account to our asset server attached. help yourself to any programs you might need, and view our mantra. View our mantra. Once you're geared up, reply to this address and I will arrange a true test of your abilities. Again, congratulations, Tex. So, essentially, I think we've been pushed in the direction of a CNC that will have some tools on it for us. So...
Could be CNC. Could just be asset staging.
Yep.
If you keep your tools on the same box that you... I mean, a lot of people do it. If you keep your tools on the same
come
box,
on. Yeah, it's not like that was the problem that the largest security service in the world got themselves undone by, though, is it?
Well, no comments there. Attackers love to do it all the time. They rent one box and it's cheap and they put everything on there. So they'll attack you and you see the attack come in, and then if the attack succeeds, it gets you to go back to a different port on the same IP, and you go, okay, what to do what to download this file, what is that file? And then so you go and you find what that file is and you go, well, I wonder what else is on at that directory. Suddenly you find tools for lots of different things that they're using. So you saw them attack one infrastructure, but they have something that the right time on it was a few months ago, and that was for an exploit that came out back then. So they're just recycling the same end goal of dropping a mine or whatever. They're using the same server for their whole stuff. So you find where that is, you've jacked their entire toolset. Pretty useful. So yeah, separate your stuff out.
Well, this isn't a CNC. It looks like you say, it's just asset staging or tool staging. There is a tool called ftpbounce.exe, which is going to give us the ability to pop the FTP port.
That sounds pretty good.
The sad thing is, it's basically exactly the same as using SSH crack. There's no additional kind of mechanic to it, which I think is a missed trick, really, in this game. And I think that's why this game gets a little kind of repetitive, a little too early. The story is still interesting. We've got plenty to talk about in just sort of poking around in a few of the servers that we're into so far, right? So it means that the writing is good, but unfortunately the tools don't really have much depth to them, and so therefore the mechanics can feel a bit repetitive. But we have found the mantra.txt, which... I thought it was going to be a bit more like the Hacker's Manifesto, but it's not. Entropy Mantra. Our group is founded on 3 pillars which we strive to follow in all things. 1. Strive for justice and righteousness in all things. 2. Create and share more than you destroy. 3. Never have an excuse not to improve. Entropy will deny contracts that go against these pillars and remove agents that violate them. So, contracts suggests that it's a little bit inspired by Uplink, where you kind of played as a freelance hacker who would essentially pick up hacker for hire contracts on the dark web and go and pop this, that, and the other. But this is sort of like more of a hacktivist's contracting service. Yeah. Here. So we've got FTP bounce. We don't need SSH crack because we already have it. It's a bit annoying that they're called exe, really, in the binaries in bin.
Given that LS, for example, you're downloading exes, but you're running on a platform that accepts commands that at least natively you don't find on Linux. That's why, I don't know if you remember, but I tried to find whether or not dir worked, as in dir.
Yeah.
That's the Windows equivalent of ls, if you like, or ls-l for the long format, give you all the information, right?
Yep.
So you're downloading exes and you're running it in a probably some kind of
Linux environment. Yeah, exactly.
So that means that everything must be running on wine, and that's why it's taking up all your processing.
Right, yeah, that's why I can only run 2 nodes at a time. So, I mean, yeah, technically, I mean, you're meant to be running Hacknet OS. That's the whole point. The name of the game is like, do you remember we started off by having these emails from some hacker who'd gotten themselves in trouble, or security researcher who'd gotten themselves in trouble? Well, they were making Hacknet OS, which had been backdoored or something along those lines, and so she had to tell us how to delete some kind of file on the system to stop ourselves from being tracked.
Right.
So, like, we're using Hacknet OS, which I assume is supposed to be a Unix or Linux distro. So, yeah, I really... there's loads of attention to detail in this game, and then the fact that you're running exes is a bit odd, really. I wonder whether that was something the publisher asked. Just said, well, most people who are gamers are using Windows machines, and they're going to know that an exe is a program, whereas they won't know that a bin or...
Maybe. The other thing is, if you were to find files that have names like SSH crack or anything similar, usually those kind of file naming conventions are something you'd find in some Windows. Anyway, like if you...
Yeah, but you couldn't run it from your Unix machine.
No. It's funny. It's almost like a nod that people would be happy to download something called sshcrack.exe.
Oh, right.
And run it and trust that it's doing what it's doing, because there's loads of these out there. I mean, I mentioned keylogger.exe last time as a real thing, but loads of them are called stuff like that.
Yep.
I don't know, maybe.
But I think you're being very generous there. Let's. I guess we can find out, can't we? So we log into our email and we reply to that email. And excellent. I'd like to take the first to formally invite you to begin accepting entropy contracts. Attaches the location of the group's secure contract database along with login credentials necessary to access it.
We're working for these ones now, then.
Apparently.
Right.
We've decided that we will. I mean, I can't. If we go back in our email, I think there was some reasoning as to why we would.
Yeah.
Because we're getting these Dead Man Switch emails, aren't we? From
he was
NetBit or whatever,
involved in this group,
or knew that this group might be able to help.
Yeah. Okay.
So feel free to accept and complete initial contracts at your leisure. I'll be in contact again to gauge your progress soon. Text. So we need the contract database. Oh yeah, right. User crash override password Rosebud. Oh, that's one thing that we can try and do to see whether we can pop the game earlier. Is instead of logging in with, so we have logins to this tool set. There's the famous counter hack. We recently got news from a company hiring less well-meaning hackers to retrieve some sensitive data. Right, yeah. So these are all the contracts. Can we ls or are we not admin? No, we can ls. Okay, so there's no point in hacking this thing anyway. They've given us a user that's got admin rights.
Perfect.
FTB bounce is in there. So this is where I started getting overly paranoid, and basically every time I ever went to my mail server, I deleted the logs. Every time I ever went to the contract database, I deleted the logs. Every time I ever loaded a shell on a different device in order to be able to overload the proxy on a service so that I could then crack the ports, I went and deleted the logs. And so if you can imagine that process for each server that you're supposed to get in and retrieve a file for, there were 5 to 8 different machines that I was then meticulously going through and deleting all the logs for all of them every single time. It turns out you just don't need to do that, and so that's why it was taking me so long to play the game.
Right.
But so I think we won't do that. I think we'll just leave our logs on the entropy contract database file system. Although really, in reality, that'd be the worst place to leave them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're part of the team, I don't know. Maybe they have a wipe.
Well, but if they get popped, yeah, there you go. You're kind of leaving them the responsibility of looking after.
Nobody should
their
ever
members.
do that. Always wipe your logs.
Yeah. So we can take a job basically, if I remember rightly.
Sounds good. We can. Let's take one.
Oh yeah, I don't need to view the file system. Let's actually look at the contract listings. So we can hack unscrupulous black hats. Oh no, hang on. But that's I don't think our best bet is to jump straight into to pissing off other people in the community without any good reason.
Well, a lot of people have had a lot of mileage out of doing that, so you know.
Is there a story behind that?
Yeah, there are many, and some of the names of the groups doing this are not repeatable on a live stream. But turn up, cause mayhem. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can't see the different. I mean, you said there's unscrupulous black hats, but yeah, we can pick one. I'm guessing that you jump to the server, you find the file, manipulate it somehow, and then.
Well, should we go and see what that mission's about?
Yeah, may as well.
I mean, the other missions are like back to school. The high school has contacted us with concerns about their IT department accessing private student data, likely on the request of one of their students' parents, but we can't say for sure. They don't want anything deleted, but want to discreetly find their IT staff's private passwords so they can investigate for themselves. So we can either bully sysadmins or we can bully.
Password, do we?
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's a bit of a strange request. Someone's exceptionally well funded. Oh, that's badly worded. Someone exceptionally well funded asked. For some help in investigating a co-worker's tablet to see if it's being used for personal matters at work. A cursory poke around their system made it look like they were obsessed with aliens. Might be a really dedicated role-playing group or a group with conspiracy theorists.
Right.
Sale for free space internal. What's that? A client of ours recently purchased a valuable piece of software and is refusing to pay. Delete what they now unjustly hold.
That sounds nice.
Yeah. And the last one is a valuable client from our group has requested the deletion of a file on a previous employee's private computer. The files are not unique, and the company merely wishes to remove the individual's copy. The target is unlikely to mount a passive trace against you. So
someone can try and trace you back then.
So we've got. Oh, there's another one at the top. Point clicker. A well-meaning client needs some of his data from a game server deleted to regain his productivity. That sounds like Mustafa. Right. needs the paperclip factory to be removed from his machine, and he's basically needs a hacker to do it for him because he's not.
He's taking up all his productivity, right?
Yeah,
okay.
He's not got enough self-discipline.
That sounds pretty funny.
Should we do that?
I don't know if you ever did the whole cheeky local blocking Facebook by putting Facebook's domains into the Etsy host file as local host IP. So every time someone tried to use Facebook on that machine from then on, it would just say server not found. So we had to put it on in a very old job in a place that had nothing to do with IT, but one or two members of managerial staff would disappear for hours, and it was understood that Facebook was the problem. So I was asked to do something about maybe that. So in Windows, it's still in the file called hosts, but it's under a path, something like C Windows System32 drivers etc hosts. Facebook.com 127.0.0.1, and within a day, come and look at this computer. The internet's broken. The internet's broken on it. I go, oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So you go up there and you load YouTube, and they go, well, it seems fine. No, Dad, no. Sometimes it's fine, and sometimes certain sites don't work. And you go, well, I
What
mean,
sites?
we can play a YouTube video. Go to like bbc.co.uk, and they go, which sites do you mean? Oh no, it seems like it's fine now. You don't need to worry about it. But yeah, that's what you would do. And suddenly, managers weren't hanging around the office as much anymore.
Oh yeah.
A little back office area, yeah. Magic.
Oh, management, eh?
There might be a like I am hoping that there isn't a manager in question who might be listening, which is very unlikely. This was over 10 years ago, but they will know now.
It's on the internet now. It's recorded and on the internet.
Well, statute of limitations for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think we're good on the whole boss told me to do it Facebook problem.
So basically, they want us to break into the servers of the actual game and delete the profile of the person whose productivity, or block their IP or something. So then that's not on their machine. So point clicker. You click a load and it gives me a load of points. And I've got no points. Oh, I'm not clicking enough. It's going up.
Paper clips, isn't it?
It is. PPS per second are really doing well now. I've got 21 of them. I've got the auto clicker version 1. That's pretty cool. Yep. So let's hack this game. Right. So first thing is nmap it.
Yeah. Can you nmap? Can you actually do nmap for everything, or is it just a specific machine that you can do?
Yeah, so it's actually only like on the machine that you're connected to at the time. It's not used for discovery.
Can you discover? Can you do discovery just across like everything, just to see from where you are? Can you see everything else or not?
No, I don't think so. I think there was a command that we could use to see what this device might be connected to. I think later on, actually, after we do this mission, we'll maybe try the one about the co-worker's tablet, because I think that's the one with the Alpine password that was related to an old admin shenanigans that was an Apple exploit. Well, I say exploit. It's not really an exploit, is it? When it's leaked credentials. So we can use. We've got to crack 2 ports, but we've got 2 tools now, so we can use FTP bounce as well.
Yeah. May as well, right?
I think we have to. And so FTP is on 21, isn't it?
Hang on. Yeah. Yeah.
In this instance, it is.
What am I saying?
And I need to SSH crack as well. It was SSH crack, wasn't it? Yeah.
SSH crack.
22.
You have to do it at the same time, do you?
I think like there are. At the moment, we've got no time limit, but there are instances later where you're under pressure to try and do this as quickly as possible. So you have to run a bunch of processes and try and not max your RAM out, so that you have to do it in the right order. Like SSH uses a certain amount of RAM and FTP uses a certain amount of RAM, and you have to time which one you're going to do first and that kind of thing later in the game. So we're in probe system. Oh right, yeah, there is a. Oh no, that's like the same as port hack. I don't need that.
I'm seeing another set of ports at the bottom there. What's the last one? Because the resolution.
There's an SQL server on this one. 1433.
3306 then.
It's 1433.
Oh, Microsoft SQL server, is it?
Maybe.
My SQL is 3306. 1433 is MS SQL, I think.
Just says SQL. It's not MySQL. So yeah, I guess they are referencing.
Okay. Yeah, I in fact I will double check. I'm pretty sure that's.
Yeah, you're right. That is MS SQL.
Is it?
Yep.
Right. Nice. So it's a Windows box we're hitting then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but well, this is where they like for consistency we're using ls.
Mhm.
Right. So we're looking for the handle MENGSK Mensk.
Okay. So what has LS given us?
LS. It's actually. That's weird. Privileges. Insufficient privileges to perform operation. Oh right, yeah. No, yeah. It's because although I've opened up those ports, I've still got to
port hack.
I've still got to port hack. I haven't actually exploited the service.
You've opened the ports. You haven't hacked them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've hacked them. You just haven't hacked them.
Exactly.
Right.
So port hack. Port hack it is. Yes, that was exactly it.
Right, okay.
That's odd. It's just given me the game screen again. LS, I'm in now. Right, so point clicker, saves. Do we just want to delete his saves?
What? I can't see all of the things from LS there.
So
what other directories do we have?
We've got home, which is just a bunch of folders. IRC log. The bishop came to our church today. He was a fucking imposter. Never once moved diagonally.
How dare he? Was that the whole IRC log? Was it?
There's these IRC logs are usually like 5 lines long. Right. Storm Rider, I should bomb something, and it's off the cuff remarks like that are the reason I don't log chats, just in case the FBI ever needs anything on me.
Perfect.
LZ Ann, I'm sure they can just get it from someone who does log chats. FBI has joined GameCube Cafe. We saw it anyway. FBI has quit our IRC.
Excellent. Right, so I'll tell you the story behind something that happened there. Which is didn't get anyone in trouble except for the person who thought he was being clever.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll talk about that later because I keep interrupting this game flow and that's no good. So
no, that's fine. You can talk about it.
I'm guessing that what we got home, and what else have we got?
We've only really got saves and important readme don't crash. Important, never delete or rename config ini. It's system critical. Removing it causes instant crash. Do not test this. They don't want us to kill the game, right? They want us to just remove this person's...
Just get rid of this person's thing.
But it's their saves. They're still going to be able to play the game. We want to blacklist
them. If we get rid
them.
of their saves, we get rid of the progress at least, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
So if he's got 2 months worth of click progress and you cane that off.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does that username you mentioned earlier, does that turn up in that directory?
It does. Yeah, it was here.
So even if we don't prevent the game, even if there's something else we've got to do, we should delete that anyway. Because again, imagine deleting someone's, I don't know, League of Legends account data. when
That
they
it might
get
stop. Yeah, it may well stop them
years
from
into it or whatever.
from playing again for a while. It's not going to block them though. I was thinking that we'd like blacklist them somehow, or block their IP, or ban them,
Are there any
put them on the
mechanisms
ban
for us
list.
to do that?
No, there's not. I was hoping that there'd be like there'd be next to point clicker saves, there'd be point clicker ban list, and you just move the save game file belonging to this person over to the ban folder or something like that.
Can't file it, can we?
No, we can't. Oh, well, we can read, yeah, but we can't.
Yeah, we can read, we can't. There's no right terms on it. There's no tool, for us to use that.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
RM the progress.
Yep.
Even in a game, it's still fun to do that. You know what I mean?
I've just, you just feel like you've really screwed someone's afternoon up.
You just like, well, you enjoy that, and he's like, time to save, and he can't do it, and it's gone.
So, I've deleted our logs as well. I can go back to that and reply to the point clicker. Success. Yeah, that was correct. That's what all we need to do is delete his save progress.
Somewhere, Mengs, is it? He is raging.
Yep, somewhere he is bashing his keyboard against his face. But we're saving him on RSI as well, because that point clicker game, like the 10 seconds of it that I played, my finger was hurting.
Right.
Right, so that means because of that contract, our ranking has gone from 80 to 100.
That's pretty good.
So we basically need to just now find another contract on the contract database.
Very quickly then. On a server long ago, there was a user who there was a policy whereby we wouldn't talk about certain things, because not only at that time would you be suspicious of people logging, there were enough things being disclosed where we knew logging was definitely happening, even though it should be assumed there was proof to say. So we always tried to make sure nobody said anything in a public open channel that could cause legal grief, because it's not just legal grief for the one person, it's legal grief for everybody in that channel. Because all they have to do is become clever and go, we're going to use something like group venture or joint venture laws, and suddenly anybody in the channel, if they got picked up, they could go, well, we knew you were in this channel, you're involved in this group, blah blah blah. Not that they've necessarily tested that theory yet, but it could happen. So we were quite paranoid and very angry at people who would do this. This guy said, well, he took the kind of clever clogs argument that, well, if somebody does do this and talks about it in public chat, they deserve to go down, because that's stupid. So therefore, I'm going to teach them a lesson for their own good. And he made a bot called FedBot that he changed names of multiple times. What FedBot did was it idled in the channels that were most populous, and at a regular cadence it would save the logs that it had created and auto-upload them to Pastebin, and they're still there now. If you put Pastebin FedBot into a search engine, it might take you a bit of time to find it, but they're still there. And the poetry of this was, at one point, the individual themselves was discussing their not actual exploits. I mean, their endeavours with reference to credit card fraud and carding people and stealing cards and reusing them. He did this in a channel that his bot was logging. Posted his log of him talking about
using his own tool,
fraud, and he couldn't get back into the Pastebin to delete the logs. So he ghosted himself, had it on there, couldn't RM them, and then he ran away.
Oh dear. And
that was the story of FedBot.
There is a user called FedBot on Pastebin even. Voxanon's logs seem to appear quite a lot.
They are the logs. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That was the server. That was the user. So yeah, you will find me in there arguing very heavily a number of times, I am sure, because I think they're the same logs. That is FedBot. Those logs were auto-posted, and one of those logs contains his admission of credit card fraud. because he's a genius. So yeah, there you go. Fedbot is still there on Postbin. That's amazing.
Not only should you delete the logs, you should also not write tools to incriminate yourself.
And if you are going to do that, don't auto post them. And if you are going to auto post them, don't forget your password. I'm so glad they're still there. That's amazing.
6 years ago was the last time it was posted to. So yeah, 2013. 2,918 of these.
Yeah, there was a real campaign. He was trying to get this bot into the things before. I mean, towards the end, it was really easy to recognize the connection pattern. So some of them you'd see log start, and then they go, "Hi Fedbot, new name I see," or whatever, and then deleted from server, and that was the only log message. But some of them had quite a lot of conversations in there.
A lot of these are empty, but I'm just nosing around. There's like some of them have got a lot of hits, so I assume those are the ones that we should be looking at.
Yeah.
What we got? Who we got in here? Velociraptor, Charlie Wong.
I don't know if it's the homage account, but Charlie Wong.
One of the bots.
Of one of the bots.
Yeah.
Which was.
Mama's in there. I don't know whether that's the same Mama.
Yes, it is. It is that. It was that.
That individual.
Yeah, that was them. Usernames are probably not a good thing. I mean, people can go and sort of read these logs if they want, right? But yeah. Charlie Wong was a character from Phonejacker, which became the namesake of the bot, which turned into Darth Vegas, which is now the port, which is going to end up in the
Samantha's Discord. So, yeah. Bit of history.
That is the bot that has been forked.
Yep.
All those years ago.
Well, there you go. It's still on Pastebin recorded.
After Charlie Wong, the bot, died, somebody registered the account and, in homage, used that nick for about a year, I think. So, if it sounds coherent, then it is not Charlie Wong.
Oh, hang on. Yeah, I think I found the exact Pastebin that you're talking about. Yeah, there's a load of stuff to do with debit card purchases for firearms and credit card. Like, who in the fuck would use a credit card to buy a gun anyway? This is funny.
It's so good. Yeah, you should go through some of them.
Back to the game anyway. Well, let's look at fictional IRC logs.
Yeah, away from the real craziness of the internet is a CTF. We will play the game has a CTF. In our
nice little safe sandbox.
Yeah, where there's no credit card fraud.
So
or otherwise.
we've got this one to do with someone's tablet or something.
Okay.
Yeah, a bit of a strange request. Someone exceptionally well-funded has asked for help in investigating a co-worker's tablet is used for personal matters at work. Cursory poke around their system made it look like they were obsessed with aliens. Oh, no, this is different. Well, let's see. I swear there's some discovery thing that you can do, so let's open that mission up. Hello, civilian. The XC project has need of your assistance. While strictly quiet and internal matter, it's something I'd personally like investigated, as I've held suspicions on it for some time. I believe one of the prominent research leads on our science team here may be being less productive than she should be. I'd like an outside operative to investigate her tablet and see if anything's out of place or not work-related. Our servers use a centralized data storage system that mirrors files by an ID code. I'd like you to investigate the system and reply to me with the code to any file you think might be worth investigating. The files that we're after should have their ID marked at the top like this: XC project ID hash 111111, where 111111 is the ID we're after here. Attached is direct link to the tablet in question. Okay, so that's not going to do what I was hoping. Because there's a mission somewhere where basically you connect to someone's computer and you do some kind of discovery, like Nmap, to see what other devices the computer is connected to, and it brings up an iPhone.
Right.
And that was what we were kind of talking about earlier. But it's obviously later in the game that you do that, which is annoying. So let's go and see about popping this one. Nmap.
Where does the scan tool come from?
Where does the Nmap one that we're using here, or you mean like for later? What I was talking about.
So you said that it's something like Nmap, but for looking at devices, right? Is that not just a tool that we have natively then?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, let's write scan, I guess. I guess we should use the. No, that's not. The scanning requires admin access. Yeah, there is. Okay, so there is. Yeah, it's scan. So let's see. I guess we've got to open a port here, and we've got to do the old proxy doodah. I should. Oh, I need to get a shell on someone else's system so it doesn't take so long.
Yeah, range some shells.
Yeah.
It's always good.
So, okay. View logs, file system, probe system. Yes, quite Nmap. Oh no, that's what I was going to do. Let's try scan on one of the machines that we've popped before.
Okay.
Yeah. That is doing, and you can. There's actually a button for scan network.
All right.
It doesn't do anything. It hasn't given us anything. We can just try that. Yeah, that has worked. Entropy asset cache. That's interesting. So Viper. Is that a new box?
Entropy asset cache.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen that before.
Entropy, where did we get
asset server? Yeah, we had entropy asset server. So this is a new one that we haven't seen before.
Can we?
We can't log into it, so we'll have to pop it.
Yeah.
Not sure we should have discovered that yet, so that's fun.
Well, I mean, we looked around, didn't we?
We did.
That is the key.
Right. It only needs one port. Oh, it's got a firewall. I don't think we've got the ability to crack a firewall yet.
Okay.
But we should bear that in mind. So there's entropy asset cache is somewhere we might want to go. I'll write a note.
But if you're saying so, there's like unless there's as far as I remember, the mechanics of this game are either you've got native OS commands, or at some point in time you pick up danger tools from the asset server, right?
Yeah.
So does that mean that as you go through the game, new things turn up at the asset server? Because there was only
there'll be a new group that we'll end up speaking to, or we'll hack into some other. Actually, that might be a good reason to go and hack those other hackers, because they will probably have tools. Wouldn't you thought?
Oh yeah. Get someone else's tooling, yeah.
Yeah. So
we could do that, or have we already committed to this other mission now?
I wonder. Let's find out whether we can do multiple missions at once. Got to go to the contract thing. Counter hack. News of a company hiring less well-meaning hackers to retrieve sensitive data from a rival corporation. In the interests of dissuading companies from using the hacker community in such ways in the future, we're going to ensure their transaction doesn't go smoothly. So actually, that looks like we're going to hack the company who are using black hats rather than hack black hats.
Right. Okay.
So that means
mess up them, and they can't then deal with the black hats.
yeah, but that means that we're less likely to find any tools.
Yeah.
But mission unavailable. Complete existing contracts. Anyway.
Okay. So which one was this then? This was
this we have to
well-paid
get into
person who wants
someone's
you to do something for them.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't they give us? We've got to. Yes, quite okay. We're meant to go and find some files that they're not meant to have been reading. That was what it was, wasn't it? Proxies have been bypassed, so
before we do that, what exactly do we have to find again? Or do we have to delete something, or do we have to find something, or what?
We have to find the names of some files that they're not supposed to have been reading, and then send the names of the files back to the contracts client.
And is there, because last time we ended up having to go back to reread the email, have we got all the bits we need?
Believe so.
Okay. We've got to find files.
Yes, so FTP bounce, I guess we'll use on 21.
Sounds good.
Right, and then we can pull back. There we go. Okay, view file system, I suppose. Home, empty, log. That's us. Empty, sys, x. Personal. There's a folder called personal. Laser rifle Mark II spec. Flight computers .rev. Whip xenogenetics. Xenogenetics.txt. The recovered species are extremely similar, not just in appearance, but in genetic makeup. My initial interpretation is that they were clones. May have been inaccurate.
We had to work out what somebody else had read.
Yeah, so they've got a personal folder. So they've got a Penetrator Mark 1 research report with schematic, codename Gaping Dragon, requirements 22 alloys. This actually reads a lot like XCOM. Did you ever play XCOM?
No.
This Illyrium-powered device is capable of extending and retracting. Extremely durable.
Is there a logs directory? Because from the logs, we should be able to see who did what on the system, right?
Yeah, there are logs we can read.
We'll know who did
file
what.
Read by 3/4. Oh no, that was me.
Okay.
Yeah, it's only got my logs.
Okay.
Hasn't got anyone before us.
And you're definitely 3/4 something, are you?
Yeah. Based on what's going on into the logs as we go, yeah, it's only the one IP address. So, I mean, it's basically this personal file, this Penetrator Mark 1 spec, which is like some alien tool. It sounds like an alien vibrator, actually. This cutting-edge power source will allow for previously unattainable operating times and intensities. Careful attention in processing should be paid to the outer bracket on the arm, which allows attachment of a number of different heads and needs to provide a secure fit. So I think that's it. Yeah, I think this is an alien vibrator. Its code name is Gaping Dragon.
Good lord.
Right, so that's the file name. Yes, XC project ID 4991. I think that's what I need to remember. What's really annoying is you can't copy paste anything. So let's write that down. X. Get out of here then, I think.
Did you say your IP started with 3.4?
Yeah. 3.242. 3.242.
Oh right, no. Don't.
164.222. Right, back to the email. Log in. Oh, right, yeah, okay. Yeah, I have to type in. That's what's really annoying about this, is like having games where you have to make notes about what you're doing is fine, but where you have to make a note on something that you ought to be able to copy and paste is really, really fundamentally frustrating. I've had to write it twice now. Or 991. Successful. There you go. Impressive work, civilian. You've been much more thorough than I expected. It looks like the interrogation tooling project is coming along nicely. A little bit more extensive than I would have expected, but we don't question the doctor on these things. At any rate, this was commissioned by the commander. It all seems in order. Right, so these people who are alien conspiracy theorists, dildo or whatever else, it was commissioned by the commander of their alien fleet. So we've done fine. Our ranking is 60 of 100, so each contract gives us up 20 in the rankings.
Nice. Vulnerabilities that came out that we had to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I do for work is mostly based on network stuff, and a whole load of these were just local Privesca exploits, but we had to look at them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And my favorite was a draw function, whereby when you loaded the video, you would run something, and there was a problem in how it would draw the scroll bar, I think. And
right.
As it tried to load that element, it hooked something that ended up using, I think it was a use after free, I can't remember, but there was a portion of memory that you would have planted something into, and this draw scroll bar function. But anyway, there was one with clipboard. So what you would do is you would run something in the background, and you would wait for somebody with because imagine, okay, so here's the setting. You found an open RDP session, so remote desktop,
Mm-hmm.
and you click on something, and it says this requires your admin privs to do it, and you click on the thing, and it asks you to enter an admin password if you've configured things correctly. Otherwise, you just so you don't have that password. You could run this in the background, and if an admin were to use the machine, whatever they were doing, there was an admin access token whereby if you had, I can't remember, was it shared clipboard?
Right.
From a previous session, that's what it was. So you had an admin user who would have used the clipboard, whatever you would. Had they used copy and paste?
So you didn't need to be in
clipboard.
You didn't need to be admin. You could just see the admin's clipboard buffer.
You could access what was in the clipboard from a previous session, and you could scrape their access token as an admin to use from the copy paste mechanism, as in the clipboard where it all got stored. I am never going to remember the CVE for that, but it was something like clipboard access token leak.
There you go.
If you were to put that into a search engine, and you'll find this really niche kernel vulnerability that people were using to steal access tokens, and there was like 4 or 5.
I mean, that's a lot of rifling through like chance and crap in order to.
I was amazed at this draw scroll bar one, because somebody must have sat there for months trying to find. So what you have to do is you have to look at the interaction and follow the code paths, if you like. So you'd have a point where it would be the source of your input or your manipulation, and you'd have to find out where
it ended.
How they found the scroll back thing, and I mean, I'm assuming that when they got there, they would know that because of the portion of memory it was using, or because of the kernel mechanism it was using, they knew they could do a thing. But to have like your scroll bar that's drawn in like your browser to scroll up and down the browser be actually the point that causes you to fail. I mean, that's amazing to have found that. I loved finding out about that little vulnerability. But
so I've picked up a new mission. It's the hackback one, or the counter hack one. Basically, they want us to undermine some corporate espionage by finding a file and deleting it. It's something to do with a mailing list. PR Marketing recently hired freelance hacker to steal a mailing list. Yeah. The hacker transferred the data to PP and ruined it for the actual creators. So basically, we have to go delete a mailing list from someone. Proxy detected. So, oh, there you go. Yeah, there is a time. So what happens if I close that? No, I need to exit. Okay. How do you? Oh, you're right. Disconnect. Yeah. So now they've upped their game. That's where you get your timers. So you have to basically. Oh, that's ruined one of my. That's got to get my shells back. Okay. Okay. Right. So. So basically, we've got a 100-second timer in order to crack ports and put in the right bits and bobs. So we need to be.
What we've got to do is delete a mailing list. You said.
Yes. Yeah, I believe so.
So I can't read the again. I can't unfortunately read the screen. But
no, that's fine. So yeah, we've got to delete a mailing list.
So go in. I can't remember. Was there a find command or a locate command?
No, there's nothing like that.
We've just got a CD and LS around the place, have we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right then.
So I mean, and I don't know whether the 99 seconds is only for actually breaking in. Whether like it's.
Oh, I see. Okay.
We'll have to find out, won't we?
Well, okay. Let's aim to do 100 seconds the whole thing anyway then, and speed up breaking.
Yep, sounds good. Right, so we're starting off by end mapping, right?
Yep.
And then, yeah. So as soon as, actually, I've already. It looks like if you bust ports or break the proxy or even get halfway through doing so and then exit, your progress is still going to be there. So actually, if you get to your 100 seconds, you can pop out and pop back in, and it's less problematic.
All right.
We need to crack 2 ports.
Is that a glitch?
Don't know.
So what you said is if you get to like 90 seconds gone,
quit the.
You jump out, and then when you jump back
by
in,
typing
the timer's
disconnect.
reset.
Yeah, the timer's. Well, I think so. The timer is reset, and your progress on knocking the proxy down is still there.
Right. Oh, okay then.
Which is a benefit.
Hack the game then.
So, right, that's the proxies done. We need to SSH crack. 122. What cannot Oh, because the proxy's active. Right. Okay. Yeah, there's SSH crack, and then FTP bounce. '21.
Don't forget to port hack.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, port hack. It is. Is this nearly done? Yeah, it's nearly done. Oh, hang on. Okay, no. We've got 89 seconds. Port hack. And we're in, but we are still being timed. So view the file system,
LS the things.
workspace, secure mailing list .dec, mail list info, documents, incident log. So I guess just delete those two things to do with the mailing list, really.
I mean, I think so. Yeah, if that's all I said in
There's
the email,
investigations. It has been requested that all emails sent from an employee, Kevin Winters, to any external addresses be scanned for malicious information regarding internal practices of PP marketing. This request has been approved by the head of operations, James Wilson. We are specifically looking for evidence that Winters has shared trade secrets with competing firms.
So we don't necessarily want to delete that because that would raise suspicion then.
No, we might SCP it because that sounds like it's incriminating.
Yeah, it does sound good. If we SCP that one, and what was the other one?
Evidence against him as well. We'll SCP that too.
And what?
Then there's the secure mailing list .dec. That's looks like it's meant to be encrypted, but and then there's mailing list info. This is the mailing list we got from the hacker who charged through the nose, by the way. Turns out there's some sort of encryption on it. What did we even pay that guy for anyway? HR saying they'll get someone else to try and decrypt it or whatever will make it usable, but according to the first guy, it's the right size. And then they have nothing to decrypt. Yeah.
They got nothing to decrypt.
What disaster. Okay. So let's just RM both of those, eh?
Yeah, RM all the deal. What's your timer like now? On the screen, I'm
60 seconds. 60 seconds left.
The lag isn't that far behind now then.
Okay, well that's better. Right, so we've got should we RM the other note that they've got on the hacking stuff, mailing list info?
We've FCP'd it, right?
No, but we should, yeah. Because that's definitely incriminating.
Yeah. They paid someone cheekily to do a thing.
Yep.
Prove that maybe.
Yep. And now I've deleted that from them anyway, so they don't know that I need to look for it. And that should be it, other than deleting our logs.
Yeah, delete logs and jump out.
Yeah, so it turns out 100 seconds was quite, 46.
Okay, alright.
So, disconnect, I guess. That's it. That's that one done. So, I guess we go and reply. Contract successful. The client, your recent contract report success, is pleased with your work. You're now free to access further contracts with 40 out of 100. So should we get to 100 or get to number 1 out of 100 and then call it an evening on this for now?
Yeah, can do.
That sound like a plan? Oh, here we go. EOS device scanning. So we've gotten a mail from someone about that thing I was talking to you about.
Okay. Oh, this is right. Okay. So we can get the tools from our place now.
Yeah. Greetings, agent. A new contract's come up that requires us to pick up some new tech. As you're online now, it'd be convenient for us if you could accept this one and test it out for us as your next job. Contract requires access to a target's phone, an EOS device. We've contacted a specialist in this field and gained access to the tools we need for the job, but they're largely untested as is, so keep that in mind. Important, you'll be forwarded information on the tools from our contract shortly. Check this email first. Once you have access to the phone, you're looking to find the password to the owner's email account, one which we know he has synced to the device. Reply with that password and we'll take care of the rest. So, Jason's PowerBook Plus. So that's his PowerBook, yeah, and we have to go and scan the PowerBook to find his phone.
Okay.
So VTFX, we've got another email as well from someone else on our EOS stuff. Hey Entropy peeps, so EOS's device scanner is uploaded to your asset server, bin EOS device scanner.exe. Should run as pretty standard connection targeted exe. Because it needs to read a bunch of files in a system folder to get the info on devices synced to the target's computer, it needs admin access on the target machine to start running. Once it's going, it should be fine if you lose it or disconnect it, though. Basically, it works by checking through the backups made when a device syncs to a computer, then pretends to do a new wireless sync with the device and use an exploit in that to open an SSH port. What is that? That's quite descriptive. What does that actually... What's that supposed to relate to? It checks through the backups made when a device syncs to a machine, then pretends to do a new wireless sync with the device, and uses an exploit in that to open an SSH port.
So that is entirely reasonable. A lot of so when you have Android or iPhone or whatever, these devices will, and your laptop, you will have stored the networks you've previously visited, right?
Yeah.
Now, what their artistic license here is that you will try and resynchronize with. That's from the device point of view, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, here's the next element to it, actually. Yeah, so reading a paragraph forward, the whole point is you kind of use the previous syncs to pretend to do a wireless sync, and because the wireless sync is over SSH, that gives you the SSH port that it's trying to do the wireless sync over. But it says, here's the trick. Because EOS users don't get access to the terminal on their own device, all the admin passwords are the same across the entire product range. So basically, the SSH connection for a wireless sync on the EOS device is the same password. It's Alpine. No need to thank me. Probably just saved you 1,000,000 years or something. I'll be expecting the payment we agreed on. So, but if I remember rightly, Alpine was a password for an iOS, some Apple, something similar like a backup thing. Let's have a Google. Alpine password, Apple backup.
Yeah, it rings a bell, Alpine, but I don't know.
Here we go. I've never set a backup password, but it says that I did, so I can't do my backups and I need them. How do I recover? That's the one. iTunes asks for a password to unlock a backup that you never set.
And the backup
Control
password is Alpine, is it?
F. I'm just going to try and search Alpine in this page. No, Alpine isn't on that page. I don't know. I mean, there's something in my head that says that Alpine was... iPhone Alpine password doesn't work. So I'm trying to SSH into my phone to change my password, but apparently I can't even get in, and I tried using the default Alpine. Yeah, so Apple used to have Alpine as the default password for SSH. Basically, that's on Mac Rumors. Someone already changed it via SSH. There is a way to reset it on the iPhone. Looking at same question. 3GS Spirit JB. When is this? This is like 2010. Yeah. Yep.
There was another one that was on Alpine. Because I when you said Alpine earlier, I must have just triggered off a memory or something else. But there was another one. There was another password that wasn't Alpine, that was also like an SSH or a root password or something for Apple. So there's been definitely more than one time when they've done this.
Right.
But I can't remember what it is. Let me see if I can find it while you're.
Yep. Well, I'm going to go to the asset server and download the tool that was supposedly dropped off there for us.
But yeah, if you've synced devices before, like let's say you've got HTC phone, that you have to download something called HTC Device Manager or something like that. But essentially, every device you connect to it that's an HTC, you've got to it stores it in it. You know, on each machine, it will store that right.
Mhm.
So it's the same as how a lot of these things do work. Like I had Sony's official thing to sort of update device or do some kind of recovery thing was the similar deal. And so if you had 3 different Xperias and you'd plugged them into your machine, they all came up. So it's just the
Right.
fact that they're saying we're going to bounce wirelessly this time is the only separation. What I was talking about earlier was on your phone, you do a similar thing with Wi-Fi SSIDs. You try and every time you've got Wi-Fi enabled, no matter
Mhm.
whether you're near your house or not,
Yeah.
your
It's
phone,
always asking.
it asks, are you I don't know, your ISP's SSID? Are you this one? Are you my work one?
Yeah.
So you can locate user locations by how their phone talks, and you reference their SSID with a stored location on a certain website that has all of these things indexed over time.
Mhm.
So it's quite good. Turn your stuff off because otherwise, people do these kind of.
Most phones now don't actually properly turn your Wi-Fi off, even if you have set it to be turned off, though.
No.
So there's not
Macs
100
are notorious for
way
that.
around that. Yeah.
Bluetooth as well.
Yep.
In a lot of things.
Right, so I'm onto this PowerBook Plus that we need to get onto. It says we need to be admin in order to scan for an iOS device.
Did you port hack?
I've got to do all the other stuff before I can port hack, don't I? I've got to nmap it first.
That's right. And you've got EOS.
I've gone and gotten that tool off the server, yeah.
It must be referencing iOS, mustn't it?
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, well, it's if they're using the actual password that iOS devices were using, then that's a pretty thinly veiled reference, which is what we like. I like thinly veiled references because then you can go and look up where it's actually from, as we just did. FTP bounce. But I mean that's pretty crazy that in 2010 the default SSH password into every single Apple device was the same. I mean the fact that it was set to password rather than a key as well is by default,
That was the root password, was it?
If
you say admin password.
Yeah, it says that it's user admin password Alpine
Was Alpine the root password on iPhones then?
I don't.
Not just SSH, but like the root password to the.
No,
device.
I think it was just SSH.
Okay.
But still not great.
So I found the other one I was mentioning.
Yep.
Although I don't recognise it, so I must have been thinking of something completely else. But there was one called Dottie, Dottie.
Uh-huh.
And there's a lot of articles that say if Alpine doesn't work, try this one, Dottie.
Oh, okay. And that was for SSH as well, or that was a broader password used for, like you say, root or.
People are referencing it all over the place.
Yeah.
I think if anybody had any kind of question about password, no matter what they were doing,
those are the two answers.
Password and Apple, people will go try this or this.
Yeah. Yep.
I have no idea what I was thinking of then. Someone else's baked in cred.
So we're in. If we scan the network, it says scanning complete, so that didn't work. But instead, now we'll use our scan tool or whatever. EOS scan. EOS device scan. So that's working. It's doing its thing. It's taking ages. Scan complete, and now we have his phone. Jason's. I can't even remember why we were cracking into this though. Is it just to test this tool out? Well, let's get into it, and maybe something will prompt a memory. So.
Was this the one where somebody was using their
Machine.
official account for?
Well, there was
their personal account for serious emails or something.
That was the other one, the aliens, alien dildo ones.
Oh, yeah, Grep for aliens, that one.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we can log into this without having to crack anything because. Oh well, let's see what the security is like on this iPhone. Whether it's crazy hard anyway, even if we already have a password. And that. Oh. Well, that's interesting. The way they've made this difficult to crack is you have to open 3 ports to crack it, and it only displays 2 ports.
No, what are the port numbers? I can't read those from here.
SSH 22 and 3659.
I have no idea what that is.
It says EOS Connection Manager, so...
Must be an Apple thing then.
Yeah, let's have a look. 3659.
Online game stuff I'm finding.
Yeah, Battlefield UDP. Looks like it's UDP most of the time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go
on.
Mac OS X server stuff is coming up as well though.
Mm-hmm.
Password/auth server thing. Anyway, we can't
crack.
We have the password.
We do, yeah. Right. Which was Alpine. Typing in passwords on this keyboard is difficult though because of the fact that I've got no key faces on this keyboard.
Oh, that is a serious design flaw there.
Oh, I did it on purpose to try and get my touch typing up to scratch, but obviously as soon as you can't see what you're typing on screen, it becomes quite difficult.
Yeah, they wouldn't. I mean, as far as I know, they wouldn't make a keyboard like that on purpose unless...
Yeah, you can just buy the black keys to switch them out. Right? Yeah, well, I bought them. I don't know what this guy's up to. Cute hard trilogy, baby jam. Notes. Buns, tortillas, mail.
Do we have?
There's his EOS folder, which has his mail and his system stuff, and his notes and his app. His notes are like recipes. In home is empty. Log is just what we've been up to. Bin has nothing. Sys has the normal stuff in it. So
we, let's read his emails because reading emails is always good.
Yep. So mail. Oh, that's just got his email address, but it does have his password for his email address, and it's a Gmail address. So actually, we can use his email account. We can probably just try logging into his email account on the Gmail web server now. That's interesting. Should we try that? It's Tintin7 jjstacks@gmail.com. Let's make a note of that. What was the password? Tintin7. Cool. Well, that's that note. Let's delete our logs over here. And oh yeah, no, that's apparently what we're supposed to do. Once you have access to the phone, you're looking to find the password to the owner's email account, one which we know he's synced to the device. Reply with that password and we'll take care of the rest. Well, let's go and look in his email anyway, because
Yeah,
why
let's
not?
read his
We're already
email.
here.
That's
So,
where the real fun usually begins.
well, we need to know why these people need it, don't we? Otherwise, we're just blindly following.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows who we're doing favours for?
Exactly.
We might find out a bit about that if we read all the emails.
Yep.
Just read everyone's email. That's the takeaway message.
God damn it. Typing passwords. Oh, that's wrong. Okay, try again.
Hang on, we're either using Alpine or Tintin 7 was the other one you said.
Yeah, Tintin 7's what I just used. But maybe I read it wrong.
We're going to his device though. His device is Alpine, isn't it? Tintin 7 is his email password.
No, it's jjstacks@gmail.com that I'm trying to log into. Oh, maybe it's not gmail.com. Maybe it's just jjstacks is his username. Maybe that's what it is. Do you reckon?
Could be.
Oh, this is so annoying.
But we can go back to his phone, right? Because
Yeah.
he has emails on his phone. If the password's not working the way we want it to here, we can jump back to his phone, right?
Yeah, we can. TIN7. Yeah, it was that. It's not his username. Isn't his full email address. It's just the first part of his email address. You take off the @Gmail. All he's got is recipes. No need to be a dick about it. I'd be fine not knowing, to be honest. But you've done it now. Lol, you think I'm just give you them? No way, mate. So someone was asking for recipes, and he's been an asshole about it.
Oh yeah, delete all this stuff. If you're not sharing recipes around, just RM his box. He doesn't deserve internet.
I'd have to RM the whole mail server for Gmail for the equivalent of Google.
Just go for it. If they ask why, then listen. There was a brownie recipe
that wasn't being shared.
It wasn't even his. It was Delia's or something.
There is horse expanding Rolex Corp junk mail. Hello, sir, madam. I am but a humble Nigerian prince who is crippled by the instability in my country and require transfer of 5,000 United States dollar in order to rid my country of the scourge of the muscle beasts which roam our plains and ravage our villages. Please send the funds to real Nigerian Prince III at boatmail.com.
So the problem I have with that email is the phrase "crippled by the instability of my country." Like he's taken a metaphysical economic problem and it's caused him a physical disability. I don't believe that for a second.
No. Maybe he means just metaphorically crippled though. Financially crippled, even.
Yeah, he didn't quantify it.
He didn't. Yeah.
I want him.
So another reason to delete the entire of Gmail. I mean, this is the thing that we talked about the other day, wasn't it? Was that actually you can break into. I basically was messing about, and I think I'd forgotten that you could autofill your password or whatever else. I was like, oh, I can't get into the email, so I tried hacking the Gmail server, and that gave you a load of missions that you couldn't get hold of otherwise.
Right.
So it's a case of nmapping that first. Oh, it's got firewall as well. Yeah. So until we get the firewall tool, we're not going to get to do anything fun with that.
Okay. So what's the we've got the mail folder and all of the stuff in there, and you found the password in one of the emails.
Yeah,
right?
and now I need to reply to this.
Any other emails we haven't gone through?
No, that was it. It's literally just. All right, jjstacks@gmail.com. Mission incomplete. What are you talking about?
What?
Uh,
Did we read the right?
we're
thing?
looking to find the password to the owner's email account. Reply with
Okay.
that password and we'll take care of the rest.
And the password is Tintin7, you said?
Yeah, well, I just got into his email with it, so surely that...
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I replied to the wrong email. Yeah, that's worked. Yeah.
Okay.
19. Ranking is 19 out of 100. You're now free to accept further contracts. What do you want to do? Should we leave it at that? Do you want to try and get to 100? It's not giving us 20 every time now, so I can't guarantee that we're only one contract away from getting to the top of the list anyway.
It gave us 21 though, didn't it?
We were 40 before and we're 19 now. Yeah. So actually, yeah. Should we try one more? See where it gets us.
Try one more. See. Maybe they'll give us 22 instead.
Yeah, I mean, if we get a firewall crack, then we can start breaking things that we're not supposed to break, and that's where it gets kind of fun.
Yeah, let's do that.
Right.
Speaking of baked-in passwords and firewalls, they had a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was was it? It might have been Juniper, or one of the it might have been a Juniper firewall setup, but the password was baked in, and it was something like. So I can't remember the exact flags of the password, but because of how it looked when you wrote it, it was like it was Sun OS on a firewall, and I think it was one of the Juniper old, and the thing was something like Sun to SU, as in super user to escalate to root. So Sun piping Sun to SU, so people called it the Sun Su. Or the Sun Su thing.
Yeah.
It was a baked-in password. So you pipe Sun to SU, and that would elevate your privileges. I think it was something like that. So that was a default for Privesk on, I think it was Juniper firewalls, but when they used the Sun OS system rather than June OS, which is the other one.
Yep. So our next contract requires familiarity with EOS. It's linked to the email you're looking for, a password they use. If you find multiple, respond with all of them if possible. The verification bubble, try all of them. Right, so we've got a very similar one, JDL's home PC. Got to pop into
Juniper's Screen OS, authentication backdoor, master password, Sun SU. There we go. So yeah, that's how you defeat firewalls in real life. You just use the default creds that everybody learns.
Oops. Yeah, there's no input for me on this. I should find it.
It's harder to break the in-game firewalls than it is
the real ones. Yeah. Right, nmap, I guess. 2 to crack, so that's easy. So SSH. Right. 22. And FTP bounce. And then once we're in, we want to run the EOS device scan one. I suppose we're nearly in. We're in. Oh no, port hack first. Then EOS. There we go. Now, oh, insufficient memory.
Close notes, was that right?
Yeah. There we go. Okay, we've got their phone. It's another e-phone, so we'll just log in. Well, let's probe the system and see whether we could actually... No, these EOS devices are really secure. You need 3 ports to open to crack them, and they only display 2 ports.
Right.
But it was admin Alpine, wasn't it?
For these EOS ones, you said, yeah.
Yeah, although I'm still having trouble. Yeah, that's in. Can't remember what we were supposed to do. Oh, we have to find passwords for some stuff. Apps. Booty IV, Booty Trilogy, Justice Edition.
Where are we?
We're in someone's iPhone. They're and it's a game called Booty Trilogy, and they've got DLC Flowers Ruined 140, Shiny Business Cards Dodged 6. So that's all games that they play. Notes, work break, starts 22nd, ends 5th, pass. Passwords.txt, changed August, War 6 22. So, I don't know. War 6 22. Okay. Music, text, music. Netski Puppy. Chilltacular 2014. Mail, nothing. System, core and runtime. Home, empty. Log is me. Bin has nothing. Sys has nothing. So, RMRF the logs, and I think it's just the one password that we needed to find, and so we're going to send that in an email.
Sounds good.
Smash and grab, reply. The password was... Yeah, it's really annoying because you can type it in, even if you didn't have copy and paste, you type it into a note, you could at least be able to drag that note into the email instead of having to type it in again. There we go, contract successful. Your current ranking is 1 out of 100. There we go. So, I wonder what that means. Aggression must be punished. Crash Override, you've proved yourself very capable in a very small amount of time. I'm impressed. There's something that's been bothering me for a while that I'd like you to help with. A relatively new but apparently talented hacker by the handle Naix, N-A-I-X, has been a bit over-aggressive. He claims to have recently stolen a great deal of internal data from Microsoft, Inc. Entropy is actively trying to improve the view of the hacker community in the eyes of the public. Just because our methods can be illegitimate doesn't mean our intentions are to harm. Naix is doing a lot of damage to this effort. I would like you to delete what he stole. The IP he used to access their servers is attached. The archive should be on that node somewhere. A recently acquired program has been added to the asset server to aid you in this task.
Okay.
So we've got a new server, but we can also go and get a new tool.
Grab tool, hack server.
And delete the Microsoft files that he's stolen.
Yeah.
SMTP overflow. XE.
Lovely. So we can use port 25 now.
Yep. Oh no, I didn't need to type that in. I need to SCP it. Damn it. Interesting. bugged a bit. What's going on here? Right, that's our new tool. Let's delete the logs. Because we should.
Yep. Delete all logs.
Right, so let's go and pop this this cheeky scrub. It's the first scrub that we've had to go and deal with.
Excellent.
And map his server. Need 3 ports open and FTP, SMTP, and SSH. Oh yeah, we've got 100 seconds. So SMTP overflow is on 25. And SSH crack is on 22. And what was the other one we've got? FTP bounce, yeah. It's on 21. There we go. Cool, nearly done, I guess. Come on now. 59 seconds. Ends is watching, I think. As I just said, let's pwn this cheeky scrub. Oh shit! I'm not paying attention to the timer. This is how you get backtraced. I'm gonna disconnect. I haven't got enough time. I've got to disconnect. Whew. Damn. All right. Let's go back to that machine. Fuck. Yeah. No, I've got to do it all over again. Okay. Right. Let's stay in the zone. It's good to know that we've got ends with us now.
If I do it, we can get it done in 5 minutes.
Well, that's more than 100 seconds.
Yeah.
So that won't work. Oh right, yeah, of course. If ends does it, we can get it done in 4 minutes 30 seconds.
I gotta say your asses.
Absolutely. Right. So, okay, we've got to use our overloads. Yep. Then we're gonna use
SMTP overflow,
FTP bounce,
FTP bounce. Sorry, it should be FTP brute.
SSH crack, and SMT overflow. Yeah, I don't think I've got enough memory allowed to. Yeah, there we go. All right.
There we go. Right, when we jump on, we've got to find the archive.
We're in.
RM it,
Yeah.
RM the logs, and jump out of there.
LS. Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh no, it's this fucking port hack.
Port hack, you got a hack port.
Well, that's, we
can do it.
Yep, we're in. Right, so LS now.
Yeah.
Right. Home, Microsoft Internal RAID Archive, that's the one. RM that. Oh, it's taking ages to delete. There we go, it's done. RM the logs. RM.
Yeah.
Oh god, I got 17 seconds and the logs take fucking ages to delete.
Well, we'll get as far close as you can and then disconnect.
8 seconds, disconnected. There we go, and it's done. I got all the logs removed as well. Oh, I've gotten an email. This is what's annoying. It's like how the fuck does everyone's server who I access seems to know my email? Incoming connection. The scrub is getting us back. Right. So maybe I fork bomb my own machine. That'd be a good idea. What? I need administrator access to what? Oh, I've got a blue screen of death. Yeah, problem has been detected.
I think that is a good time to pause it out, because it sounds like you've got a lot of trouble you have to get through before you're hacking anything else.
Well, if I remember rightly, what I have to do now is you have to, it boots, but you've got no sysconfig file or something like that, and you have to like, you can't get the UI to load, and you have to find the UI module in order to get out the pure terminal.
So it boots. You just don't have you don't have the GUI then, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's fine. You don't need a GUI.
No, well, I think for you to play the game, you do.
I don't believe it.
So, unable to locate system file X server sys. Locate and restore a valid X server file in sys folder to restore UX functionality. So we just got terminal, is what it is.
That's fine.
So basically, we ls here. And we can cd to sys, I guess, and then
you can still do
ls
things
that.
like connect and nmap and things, right?
Let's see. I mean, we'd have to know the IP of who we wanted to connect to. Oh, actually, we do. We still know the IP of.
Well, they connected to you, didn't they?
Yeah.
So did they delete their logs?
That's. I think you're going along the right lines, actually.
Because I mean, in this game, if you connect somewhere, then you make a log instantly, right? It's feasible that is what happens.
CD logs, not log, not logs. I think that is it. Yeah. So. File deleted, security tracer exe, file deleted, file xserver.sys. So, and that was by someone on 236.240.93.31. So we just connect to them, take their xserver sys file, and then RM that for them, but clear our logs first, so that they can't get back to us.
Nice.
Let's do that. So connect. Was it 236.240? Mm, 93.31. See if that works. Connected to proxy node. Okay.
Okay.
So nmap them. Yep. Only one port required for the crack, so let's hope we've still got a tool. We didn't delete our tools when we went. SSH crack. Let's try the old trusty. 22. That's working. Secure shell crack running.
Hack port.
Complete.
Port hack.
Yeah, port hack. Can we auto-complete still? Yeah, we can. That's running. We're in, so we'll ls. Right, we want to SCP there. What is it called? Whatever the xserver.sys file.
Yeah, X is the Linux GUI. It must be that one. X server. By the way, if you ever update Arch with a full system upgrade after a while, there's every chance that you break X and you're stuck in a terminal, and you do have to actually mess about for a good few hours sometimes to get it working again. This is very realistic. Like, breaking X is like a cliche joke in Arch and other things. You do a full upgrade, something breaks. In last time it was libSSH, libSSL. So you, for some reason, when it started KDE, it tried to hook libSSL in a certain way, and there was a dependency mismatch in a version of the release, and it took ages to find that out, and you just had to mess around in terminal, exactly like this. So now this game has gone right up the realism scale.
Yep. Yeah, it's actually, I'd prefer playing this game just in this terminal though.
Yeah.
So we've got their xserver.sys. We should probably have a poke around though and see what else is in there.
Yeah, see what they've got. Because you named something earlier that something tracer. Did we have that?
Yeah, it says something securitytracer.exe, but it says it was deleted by them, so they dropped that on us, maybe.
Yeah, so that means they still have it on theirs, maybe.
Maybe.
In SCP.
Yeah, let's have a look. Let's have a look in bin.
Post everything they have. SCP, the whole lot of it, and then RM, their sys file.
I think I can only do files rather than folders.
Right.
SSH crack webserverworm.exe. Oh no, actually, hang on. Isn't that what we've already got?
Web server worm. Do we have that? Because we haven't been able to hit.
We've got FTP bounce, haven't we? Isn't that?
Yeah, we've got
that's
FTP bounce.
It's essentially going to be the same thing.
SSH crack. We don't have web server worm.
Okay, well, let's grab that then. I was wondering whether web server worm would be the same thing as that it would be on.
I'm guessing that's the thing. I'm guessing
25.
That's the thing we use against 80 from now on then.
Yes. Yeah, it could be. It could be HTTP, couldn't it? It's web server. That makes sense. So now we'll have that.
We got any emails around, anything like that?
Well, let's just get this tool off of him first.
No, it takes a while, does it?
No, I was just talking and not typing. Right, so we don't. SSH crack is the only other thing they got. We don't need that. CD ... Let's go into their home folder. Getout.txt. Let's read that. Cat getout. Cute. Well, you're much better than I thought. I'm legitimately surprised. I wish sarcasm conveyed better through text format. Also, don't fuck anything up. I like this proxy.
Well, you ghosted our UI, mate. We're taking your stuff.
Well, I mean, he's saying he likes this proxy. I mean, what are we going to do to mess with him? Are we just going to delete the same system, all the other system config files?
So
we can't rm star that folder, his entire sys folder.
Yeah, I think we should do that.
I
mean, like it's pretty rude to break someone's thing and going, just kidding. Also, please don't break my stuff. Well,
yeah,
shouldn't have done that thing, should you?
Yeah, but he's also sort of saying that this is just a proxy. So actually, what we should probably use the scan command, seeing as we've got admin on this machine, see if we get some other device or box that it's connected to also.
Actually, yeah, before we are everything. There was that scan thing.
I think it was literally. Oh, there was the scan EOS scan worm that we could try. Scan, yeah, something like that.
No, there was the other scan thing that showed us connections, wasn't there?
Yeah, and that was
native.
Just scan, yeah, exactly. So we can try that as well. Let's have a look in these folders quickly in home. It says new folder 67, 44, etc., etc. It's saying drop a coin miner on it. Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, I think this is set in like 2013, so it's kind of pre being able to put some kind of coin mining malware or
not quite.
No?
2013, no.
And use profit to buy more proxies, hence says.
Well, yeah, because if he says, if this person likes this node, are there other nodes around? There must be. Mate, yeah, we shouldn't kill this yet. We should wander around. But definitely at some point we have to kill this thing.
Yeah, you're true on that. But let's do some discovery first. I want to get into some of these other folders first, though. You know, I think that's the next thing to do. New folder. 67. Yeah, okay. That is a folder. IRC log. We can read some of his IRC logs.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cat. Link. Once upon midnight dreary, while I prawn surfed, weak and weary, over many a strange, spurious sight of hot XX galore, while I clicked my favourite bookmark, suddenly there came a warning, and my heart was filled with mourning for my dear amour. "'Tis not possible," I muttered, "give me back my free hardcore," quoth the server 404.
Huh.
So
their favourite place.
Some poetry about having your porn deleted. Okay, right. CD into another new folder. What were they? 44 is the next one. Yep. Unless that's empty. I've got a feeling that they're going to have left a bunch of them empty. 28. Empty. Yeah. I think that's probably it for finding something interesting. And well, depends on how thorough we want to be. We're gonna be properly thorough here. We're gonna go through all these folders.
Normally, yes, but then also normally you would loop this. So for X in ls directory, do lsx, and you would then list everything everywhere. And if you wanted to do it properly, you would do. There are some arguments you can throw at find. If you knew a specific file extension, you would find every file that had that specific file extension.
So if you were looking for logs, you just
type this kind of stuff.
You basically can't grep anything in here.
No. You could do. I can't remember if it's dear tree or just tree, but that would show you the tree structure of the directory you're in and any subdirectories. That would be another time saver.
We're nearly there anyway. All of them have been empty so far. Yes, even the last one. I was hoping that they made all of them empty to stop people looking, and then that the last one would have something in, but no such luck. Okay, CD ls home log bin sys bin week. Yeah, we've been in everything, so I just need to. I'll delete my logs first. We'll have to delete logs twice, but just in case deleting the sys file actually kind of kills everything for them instantly and I can't get into the logs, let's go there first.
It is tree, by the way. If you were to use the tree command or you had to install it, for example, on mine, I just had to install it. But yeah, that would give you all the bits in all the places, so you wouldn't have to wander around necessarily.
Well, tree doesn't work because it says no command tree. Check syntax here. Right, I'm in log. Let's rf that. Oh, whoops, not rma star. rm. So we're just going to delete their entire sys folder, aren't we? I'm not going to muck about with individual files.
Yeah. Are in the box. If we've got everything we can.
Oh no, that's right. We were going to try doing the scan.
Yeah.
Command.
You want to scan around and see, because if there's something else there, two things. One, we want to jump to wherever that is at some point.
Scanning.
Two,
Found terminal. Nake's root gateway.
right.
173194.
Because then we can't jump there later.
Scan complete. Well, we could even jump there now if we wanted to.
Yeah, if we jump there now.
Let's make a note. I'm gonna write down this IP just in case.
But we can't. Can we get to that IP outside of using this box? Can we connect directly to that IP from the whatever the root gateway IP is? Can we just go straight there? Because if we can, then we can RM this one.
Yeah, I think we can.
Through this one.
I think we can directly connect anything that you have an IP address for. You can directly connect to. I mean, but basically it's. Well, I assume that they're SSHing into this and not allowing write access back to. If this is a proxy of theirs, anyway, it's not like we've got any privilege escalation going from this box.
No.
But I don't think that's modelled in this anyway. Well, we should do the EOS scan tool as well, just in case they've actually connected their phone to it as well.
A phone to the proxy node. That would be funny.
No, it's not. Didn't like that. Didn't do anything. Actually, I'm going to look at the game logs quickly. What does that say? EOS device scan against file name. EOS device scan sequencer XE against file name. Thread. Well. Should we RM this box, seeing as we're on it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'll RM all the fun stuff in sys folder. Goes to that.
CD to sys. We're in sys ls. Yep. RM star, you bastard. There we go. That's you gone. Disconnect. Oh, I guess actually what we should do is check whether there are logs there still. If we can get to them. Technically, you shouldn't be able to.
No, you shouldn't be able to jump to that box now, technically.
But I'm still in it. I mean, if it was still running and you deleted the system files, I guess it could be running in memory.
It would be loaded in memory. Yeah, you'd have to
restart it anyway.
Can you do that?
You can drop a fork bomb on it, I think.
Yeah, let's do that.
I can't remember the characters.
Can you just type fork bomb though?
Yeah, I can't remember whether typing fork bomb does it to your own machine or not.
Right.
But it wouldn't matter if we did. Like, actually, that would probably be a good thing because it would restart us with our new X server sys file. Let's CD into the logs quickly just to make sure that we. Yeah. ls. Yeah. It's got a log of us deleting those system files, so we'll RM those again.
Let's delete the log.
Those are gone. Cool. Right, fork bomb then. Yeah, that did work. That took us straight out. Fork bomb did.
See if we can connect back to it now.
I guess I need to. I wonder how we restart the machine.
I can't remember if there's an actual a restart command that's native. Type RE and then type.
Can I kill process?
And tab complete it. See if anything does it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I just typed help to have a look at the reboot. There is reboot. Should we reboot?
Yeah.
System reboot in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yep, we're up, and now we've got this cheeky scrubs UI. So we're gonna have like a hacker green everything once this starts up. I think I just saw a flash of it.
Oh, nice. It's speaking of Hacker Green,
There we go.
Matrix
Yeah,
turns
that's what we've
20,
got. Oh, really?
in a week or two.
Oh, wow. Oh, that
They're
means that
doing-
you can go and watch the trilogies in the cinema. I never even watched the third because I was so disappointed with the second one.
So before I knew about the the anniversary screenings of them, I rewatched all of them recently, and even if you weren't too happy with it, going through the thing again is good fun.
Yeah.
But it turns out that up in Sheffield, I think,
Mm-hmm.
when people are up there for SteelCon,
Yep.
on that Friday at
Mhm.
7:30 in the local cinema,
Mm-hmm.
that is when they play the first Matrix.
Nice.
So if people did not want to drink to oblivion, there is the other option of going to see Matrix 20th anniversary.
Are we doing Lizard Con alternate to Steel Con?
Well, I'm going up there without a ticket.
Yep.
There may be a ticket available at some point, but I'm just going up there and pub confing the whole thing if there's no SteelCon ticket. But it's a weekend out of the city, and people are turning up at the Roebuck, I think.
Yep.
I don't know how many, but I'll be up there. So.
All right. I'll see what I can manage. Right. Oh, go on. What were you going to say?
Oh no, nothing important.
I was just going to say we've got this root gateway IP 173.194.35.172 still, so we can get back into their device as well.
Nice.
Let's have a quick look at that box and then let's sign off, I reckon.
Okay.
Would be a good place to finish. So, Nmap. Proxy detected. Right, yeah, I've got to shell some other devices.
Yeah, it's moved it around for you a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that the proxy node that we RM'd just now hasn't been RM'd, even though we did. That's what we did to it, because I've just managed to put a shell on it.
Okay.
Got admin and put a shell on it, so that's a shame. Technically, they should just show it as offline or as at least like connect to it, but it not allow you to input any commands or something. Right. Nmap. Okay. What are we doing here? We've got the web server one, haven't we?
Web server worm.
Web server worm on 80. Cannot execute apparently. Proxy. Oh, because the proxy is active. Okay. Come on now. Down to 58 seconds. There we go. Okay, web server worm, SMTP overflow on 25, and SSH crack on 22, and that should probably do it. Although we're running out of time, so we might have to disconnect. Oh, yeah, right, let's try that again. We're gonna have to be faster. I'm gonna shell some other speed up our shell time, because that was what we were waiting for mostly.
Okay.
Nmap. Oh, no, they're all open already. Okay. We can just port hack.
Oh, excellent. It's always good.
Okay, cool. We're on port hack. We're in LS. View the file system. Log. Home. New folder. Pirate Cart. 2011. Microsoft internal RAID. We're gonna have to delete that again.
Well, yeah, I'm guessing so. Yeah. This is
to
which
get.
server is
They've
this
got
then?
contracts to get. Access Me, Foxy Proxy. There's a bunch of plugins to get.
Foxy Proxy. That's a real thing.
Yeah. It's Access Me, Add and Edit Cookies, Cookie Swap, DOM Inspector, Domain Details, Firebug, Autocomplete, Fire Cookie, Fire Sheep.
These are all real things. Firesheep is great, by the way, when it was around.
Oh, let's disconnect.
Firesheep was a way for you to ghost other people logging into Facebook.
Yeah.
On your machine, I believe.
That was for sidejacking cookies, wasn't it?
Yeah. Exactly. Firesheep. This is great.
I remember that as well. Right. Oh, that's funny. I jumped out of the device. Now that I've jumped back onto it, I don't have any timer, so we can take our time looking at their files.
Okay.
To get right. So what else is there? Firesheep, Formbug, Foxy Proxy, Google Site Indexer, Grease Monkey, Ground Speed, Hackbar, Host Spy, HTTP Fox, iMacros, JavaScript Deobfuscator, JSView, Key Manager, Library Detector, Live HTTP Headers, Passive Recon, Poster. That sounds like a real name for a tool.
Yeah, a lot of these are real.
Ref Control, Ref Spoof, REST Client, REST Test, Resurrect Pages, Selenium IDE, SQL Inject Me,
Selenium, yeah.
Tamper Data, URL Flipper, User Agent Switcher, Vitso Whois,
These are all real, all of them.
Wappalizer, Web Developer, XSS Me.
They're all plugins.
Contract. I understand, sir. Could I please have your account number? Sure. 67. Let me just pull that up for you. Can I please confirm your full name, date of birth? Gregory Jordan Childs, 22nd of the 1st, 1982. Thank you. Can I confirm that you are Gregory Childs? Your next contract is in Tiraspol. A man named Spool has your briefing. We expect you to be on the ground August 9th. Payment of $33,000 was paid into your nominated account with a further $10,000 for expenses. I accept the contract. Good luck, sir, and thanks for contacting Allegiance Energy's customer service. Worst front ever. So that sounds like something that's worth getting a copy of. I don't know whether that might even be the real name of the cheeky scrub who deleted our stuff, if they're Gregory, or whether they've gotten someone else's.
They are part of this same thing if they're accepting some kind of contract.
Yeah. Well, they'd taken the other contract, hadn't they, to do with the Microsoft stuff as well. Right, that's a copy of that. Admission letter, Dear Julius. That's someone else. So they could be Gregory or they could be Julius. You've been formally accepted to enroll at the Royal Military Intelligence Commission. We are thrilled that you have chosen our prestigious institution to continue your academic endeavours. When you arrive on campus next month, the admission office will issue your campus ID along with your room assignment. I look forward to seeing you when semester begins. So do we think that he's actually someone who's in training to join the NSA? Possibly.
Do
you think they have stolen this letter?
Or he's found someone else who that's true role.
Yeah.
And then that would mean they're not necessarily the right person for that role.
Yep.
Someone else has found it. We would want to SEP all of this.
Yep. Doing so.
And if this is his root thing, we need to RM his server again.
Yeah. Yeah. Crash over. Oh, he's got our old X server. If we want to put that in as well. Depends on whether we like this hacker green or whether we should probably at least delete it from here, seeing as it's got our handle in it.
Yes, exactly.
Are we happy with theirs or do we want our OS?
Well, green works quite well.
It does work quite well, but wasn't the whole idea that we got given this OS by the person at the beginning as if it was some new release and possibly...
So all we've got is, all this has changed is the X server config, as in the layout, like the skin of the thing. It shouldn't have touched the actual underlying OS by the fact that they deleted that, I think.
Yeah. Well then let's just RM the crash override one.
Don't want to leave our data around the place.
Yeah. Let's brackets crash. Yeah. That's gone. Bin SSH crack FTP bounce web server 1. We've already stolen that off of them. Okay. Is there anything else? Pirate Cart. That's a game folder. That's empty. Data 298. No, that's zeros and ones. It's no good to us unless.
Keep.
You want to try binary decode?
Yeah, don't get rid of that.
Okay.
Are there many?
If we could copy paste
0110.
Yeah, loads of stuff. Like basically where they've not wanted to. They wanted to make it look like there is something. They've not wanted to write the content.
Yeah. The file. Don't delete it. It was put there, right? It exists in the game.
It does.
Maybe it is of value.
Okay. Right then, delete our logs.
In a real situation, you would DD the entire partition to an image file. Then you would SCP the image file, and then you would mount it as a drive, and you would go through it at your leisure somewhere else.
Yep.
That's what you'd want to do. And if you ever come across something called local file inclusion, which a lot of people don't really care about, but that's when you would use a web service to request a file that happens to be local to the device that you shouldn't necessarily see, because you're able to move around the system more than just the web directory. Well, people say, well, so what? What am I going to do? Look at etc password. That's the classic test. No, if you've got the right permissions, do your local file include to be dev sda1 or whichever partition, and the web server will let you download the entire partition. You go to the drive. This used to work on, there used to be sort of wireless login presentation hub things, like in universities and whatever. You'd find these online, and in a legitimate environment when you are authorized to pen test, of course.
Yep.
You would find,
always have authorization first.
You would find these sort of Wi-Fi things, and the whole point is somebody who's presenting could go up to the screen, type a code in if they were on the same Wi-Fi network, and they would automatically broadcast to that screen. But what you could do is you could take from a local file include vulnerability, because it ran as root, you could take the whole disk. If you took the whole disk, there might be information on there that might allow you to jump back onto the device in full. You could then sit there and wait for people to connect to you. So you'd wait until you found some interesting guest lecturer of some description trying to connect to the device, and you might be able to jump on their device.
There you go.
So yeah, LFI, don't forget, always try to include the file partitions, the OS partitions, and if it gives it to you, you've got the whole device. It's not just individual files, right?
I've couple of things. I just noticed someone called PewDiePie Helper has tried to spam a link into our thing. We should definitely delete that link. Although the problem is, it says it's on YouTube. I can't see that on YouTube when I log into YouTube. Can you?
I can't see that either.
I can if I switch it over to live chat. I'm going to delete that. I might even... should I report them? Probably should, actually, for spamming them.
Spam?
It says...
Oh, that, yeah.
dlive.tv. Don't click on that.
No.
I'll report that. Unwanted commercial content or spam.
They must be trying to find anything live and spamming anything live, right?
I assume so.
I'm gonna look at that place though.
It was dlive.tv.
Yeah, I got it.
I wouldn't. I'd obviously kind of stick it
nobody-
through URL
nobody
scan
go-
first.
Yeah, nobody go and do anything with that. However, may as well, right?
So then, in the fictional internet that we're also mucking about on in parallel, it's quite fun doing both, isn't it?
Yeah.
So in the fictional side, as soon as I RM'd that person's other machine, I've gotten another email. Are you kidding me? Seriously, you think you can just fuck my stuff and leave without consequence? Did you think I wouldn't notice? Did you think I wouldn't find you? You're a pathetic script kiddie. You couldn't hack a fucking honeypot without your precious buttons and scroll bars. Say goodbye to your ex-server, idiot. Oh, that's the old one. That's the old email. And then gotten another one. GGWP. Okay, I get it. Fair enough. Stop messing with my shit. A bit sloppy leaving those logs on your box, but seriously, it kind of looked like you had no idea what you were doing. But hey, this could all be for the best. It's not every day you run into someone on the internet that's not a complete idiot, you know. I've got a little test for you. Should be pretty fun. There's this security company that's basically a fucking joke. Nortron. Know them? Yeah, to be honest, I'd rather have a virus than their security shit clogging up my system. It's totally trash. They make most of their sales from people who have no idea what they're doing. I've been meaning to fuck with their website for a while now. Basically, just plater the word dicks all over it. Dicks in the title, on the header. I don't even care if you change the whole website to just be the single word dicks, really. If you're into a little hacktivism for hilarity, let me see what you've got. Surely that'll be more fun than whatever you were originally here for, right? Hacks or nakes. I can't remember that. Well, I can't really. I think it's N, nakes. P.S. You probably have no idea what real security is still, so I gave you a link to Baby's First Hacking Guide 2. Have fun. Well, I kind of like this person a little bit more than Entropy, who were a bit dry, weren't they, at least?
Yeah.
At least this person's in it for the lulls. Right, so that's Norton's web server. Network Education Archives and Instructions. Instructions. Replace something in the title with dicks and I'll condone other changes as long as they're hilarious. Right, so let's look at this network. Proxy server quick guide, exe files and remote execution shells, firewall analysis solutions. That's what we need. Modern firewalls have been configured to prevent all security critical traffic unless you prefix firewall solution referred to as a password to end users, although there is a distinct difference between the two. In this situation, the firewall solution will need to be provided before an unsyndicated login attempt can be attempted, effectively meaning that any known password cracking software will be useless while the firewall is active. Firewall complexity can be examined with the analyze command. Running the analyze command multiple times will automatically detect patterns in the response data headers and will eliminate characters it can guarantee are not part of the correct firewall solution. Once a potential solution is found, the command solve firewall solution can be used to attempt to syndicate. Okay, so this is interesting. So this is them making a slightly more interesting mechanic out of something. But does this mean that they've diverted further away from some of the realism they've been doing elsewhere? So, well, the way that the firewall, it says that firewall works is if you get onto a box that has a firewall, you have to type the word analyze. So there's this analyze tool. And while the analyze tool is running, it knocks out, it's got a load of letters that it knocks out of the way to try and trim down the potential letters left in the solution or the firewall password.
Yeah.
It's saying that a firewall solution is different to a password. So it's sort of...
It might be brutal. Well, so
you either have bruited something or you haven't, right? That's where they're sort of taking some poetic license here.
No. I don't. I don't mean that. So, the closest thing I can think is if you have blind SQL injection.
Mm-hmm.
Blind obviously meaning you don't get any. Normally with SQL injection or something like that, you will send something, and somewhere in the web page itself, it gives you the data you're asking for as part of the web content itself that it delivers. In a blind scenario, you don't have that. You still might be able to inject something, but you don't get a response in line. So instead, what you have to do is you have to construct a truth-false operation. So you would, instead of sending give me this from this table, you have to do sort of incremental checks. So you go, is character at offset 0 at this location in this table A? And if true, do something. If not, carry on. So it would be something like you would do a wait for function. So if this condition is true, that first character is A, sleep for 10 seconds as an example, right?
Right.
So if you saw the website sleep at 10 seconds, you knew the first character in that table was A. So you would send many requests to over time enumerate
which one's caused to sleep. Yeah.
Now, one that is how you would blind inject as a very simple example of how it works. There are more than one tool out there which seeks to make this a theatrical endeavor. So I can't remember if it was Havige or SQL Map. I'm pretty sure it's SQL Map, but there was something you could do where when you sent off your requests, it would construct something in front of you that did look like it was doing the kind of descrambling in real time with like character sets that then froze on the right letter as it found it. But it didn't quite do it that way. It did it sequentially, but it made it look like it was doing the kind of matrix bit where it scrambled and found the right number, scrambled and found it, blah blah blah.
So it's not actually that far away from the truth. It's suggesting it's for firewalls instead of
firewalls. But
SQL injection.
Any kind of injection whereby you, instead of having a live response, you would have to invoke true-false logic. Then you would essentially enumerate over the series of data this way, and so there is something there. There is a link, but it's not bruiting. By bruiting, as you said, you've found the correct answer, and you have the whole answer, or you have nothing.
Yeah. I've just realised that your little symbol is right in the way of the terminal. I should move that.
All right. Yeah, that's not ideal.
Move the other to the left-hand side of me.
I potentially gonna have to hop off soon.
Yeah, I think it's the right time to. Well, we've done. We've gotten into the right realm of finding someone who's in it for the lulz, and we are now fairly well tooled up. And our next challenge is to go and write dicks all over some security vendor's website. So it's almost kind of getting close to home all of a sudden. So yeah. Right. Well, I think that is the perfect time to sign off. Okay. Let's disconnect from here.
Yeah.
You had a story that you wanted people to have a look at.
Debian fact.
Yeah.
So, don't check now. But do you know where the name Debian comes from?
Is it a Greek goddess?
No.
No.
This is awful and definitely true. You can go and check this immediately. Debian is a portmanteau of the creator of Debian. His name was Ian, and at the time, his girlfriend's name was Debbie.
No.
And Debian,
no.
Yeah, and they are no longer together, and yet everywhere around the world, Debian is one of the most popular server instances for stability.
Man.
So that lasts forever.
Oh, don't! It's like getting a tattoo of your girlfriend.
Yeah, except that
Except
You
you can't even get it
remove this
removed.
That is one of my
That's
favourite.
brilliant. That's true.
Yeah.
I have to Google that now.
Okay.
Debian.
A brief history of Debian. Ian Murdoch is the guy's name. The official official pronunciation of Debian is Deb-E-N. The name comes from the names of the creator of Debian, Ian Murdoch, and his wife, Deborah. Deborah, not Debbie, sorry, Deborah. Except that, unfortunately, I do not believe that they are still together.
There's on linuxquestions.org there is a question, perfect because it's even got a misspell in it. Wound you name a girl Debian? Instead of would you name a girl Debian? Just looking at cool names. That's from 2012.
Yeah, it is. So I don't want people to necessarily go through the story too much because it ends up becoming quite tragic.
Oh, really?
The story of this thing, yes. But never forget that Debian is Deborah and Ian.
I mean, you've opened up a can of worms with that statement, Path.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Google the rest of it.
Yeah, but you'd never believe that, would you? If someone said it and there was no way to reference it.
No, it's
definitively
it'd be one of those.
Someone would have made it up on the spot to be funny, and it carried on as one
of those word games where you have to give like a false definition of like blankety blank or whatever. Like it sort of feels like it's the
Unbelievable Truth on Radio 4.
Yeah, like you can imagine a comedy panel show where you've got like I don't know, what's the bald Irish guy who does Mock the Week? You'd have Dara O'Brien asking a bunch of people.
There's a panel show called Unbelievable Truth, which is exactly that.
Oh, there you go.
It's hosted by David Webb, I think.
Yep. And so you've got three people. The first one is like one team has to guess which the true answer is, and the other team have to give three false definitions or something like that.
Right.
And this is the rule set for a board game that I have.
Okay.
I can never remember what the name of it is. But anyway, the first one would be Debian. What's the real meaning of Debian? And the first one would be Debian is named after a particle found in the atmosphere on Saturn because that was the first. The Debian was invented the same week that the Mars rover first. Or something like that. Yeah. And then the next one would be Debian is a concatenation of the founder of Debian, Ian's name, and his girlfriend Debbie. And you'd go for the weird science one.
Yeah, you definitely go for the science one because you think, they name it after all this kind of stuff. And you'd never think that Ian would be so brazen.
Poor Ian.
Poor Ian.
Poor old Ian. So that's on the Wikipedia page for Debian, the rest of this story.
Mm. Yeah.
I can't. This doesn't seem to say anything. Debian was first announced in 1993 by Ian Murdoch with Debian Linux. Debian was formed as a portmanteau. Yeah. Cool. So we're not saying the rest of the story then, or are you going to give us a hint?
Well, Mr. Murdoch is unfortunately no longer with us. Is the TLDR.
But that's surely not because of Debbie.
No. I am not. I don't think there's a link there. I haven't double checked, but
yeah.
Sad story.
Oh well, he made a fantastic OS.
He did. It is
repo.
Ubuntu comes from Debian. Mint comes from Ubuntu.
Yep.
Kali forked off Debian, so not all of it was great. But there we go.
Yep. Yep, and that comes. It's it's a lot for you as an archman to be singing those praises.
Oh, right tool for job all the time. You'd
Yep.
never use Arch in production unless you were a masochist. Yeah, definitely. Now all my remote things are Debians, I think.
Yep.
Just because it's not as fat as Ubuntu.
Yep.
Ubuntu, whichever.
Yep.
However you pronounce it, but yeah.
Cool. Well, Path, thanks very much for another absolutely rip-roaring episode. It's been fun. It's been fun again.
Yeah, it's good. And I still can't get over how Fedbot logs are still there. You should definitely check them out.
Yeah, I will. I'll make sure to. Well, yeah, just a little reminder to everyone that we will be back again in 2 weeks' time. Path, I think we're going to get McFly on next time. If you're around and up for it as well, that could be kind of fun.
Yeah, that'd be good.
McFly is up for writing the character profile for his character in Off Grid live on the show. So.
Very good.
So yeah, it should be fun. Cool. All right. Well, yeah. Cheers to those who watched. Thanks, Enz, for chipping in and giving us some giggles. Oh, hang on. There's a bunch of people who've just asked questions in the last 10 minutes. Should just answer those quickly.
Yeah.
Did you finish the game Off Grid? And when could we play the game? And that's from Umutergunis. No, we haven't finished Off Grid. Off Grid is still in production. We showed a little bit of it at the beginning of the stream, actually. If you want to check out some of the latest content that's going into it. Essentially, as of the Kickstarter, we're aiming to get it out by the end of the year. But as with everything indie, there's always room for things being shifted about. So your best bet is to pop into our Discord if you're able to, Amutagunis, or if you're in there already, because we give regular updates in there, and we have the dev blog actually as well. So I think if you go to offgridthegame.com, there's a tab for our dev blog there, and that gives you really detailed, gives you release notes actually of the builds that we give to our early access backers in Kickstarter. So you can read everything that's going into the game every 5 weeks or so. We push one of those up. So yeah, you can't play the game yet unless you're already a Kickstarter backer. There will definitely be some form of beta by the kind of in the end part of the year. So definitely jump on the Discord for that as well. That's discord.gg/Semaeopus, Semaeopus. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. And thanks for stopping by. Cool. Path, once again, thanks so much. And to everyone else, see you soon.
Yeah, take it easy.
You too, mate. No.